Here we go. Yeah. Yeah. Hey. Here we go. Here we go. TruCrime Cafe. Kicking the door, peel back the day. Seeking that truth. Only do it his way. Notes on the napkin, red string on the case. Looking for justice. Can't see it real clear. Screens full of static, but the trail's right here, pointing at the weirdness. Zoom, don't blink. Hey, look, it's right there. You closer than you think. Yeah. Serve it up hot at the TruCrime Cafe. Breaking down the crazy. Put the lies on the tray. Making sense of the cray. Say what you feel. We shut down the bullshit. Don't give it no wheels. Yeah. Serve it up hot at the TruCrime Cafe. Sip on the facts, let the fog burn away. Truth in the cup, take a taste, that's the deal. We shut down the bullshit. Don't give it no wheels. No wheels. Yeah, no wheels. Mic on the counter, files on the floor. Walk me through the timeline, then we ask once more. Side-eyeing every story, every hole, every gap. If the glove don't fit, then we redraw the map. From the cold case corners to the heat of the stand, he break it all down, so you finally understand. Clock on the wall, but the grind don't stop. Justice ain't blind, it just been cropped. Serve it up hot at the TruCrime Cafe. TruCrime. Breaking down the crazy. Put the lies on the tray. Making sense of the cray. Say what you feel. We shut down the bullshit. Don't give it no wheels. Serve it up hot at the TruCrime Cafe. Sip on the facts, let the fog burn away. Truth in the cup, take a taste, that's the deal. We shut down the bullshit. Don't give it no wheels. Here we go. Yeah. Hey. Here we go. TruCrime Cafe. Kicking the door, peel back the day. Seeking that truth. Only do it his way. Notes on the napkin, red string on the case. Looking for justice. Can't see it real clear. Screens full of static, but the trail's right here, pointing at the weirdness. Zoom, don't blink. Hey, look, it's right there. You closer than you think. Yeah. Serve it up hot at the TruCrime Cafe. Breaking down the crazy. Put the lies on the tray. Making sense of the cray. Say what you feel. We shut down the bullshit. Don't give it no wheels. Yeah. Serve it up hot at the TruCrime Cafe. Sip on the facts, let the fog burn away. Truth in the cup, take a taste, that's the deal. We shut down the bullshit. Don't give it no wheels. No wheels. Yeah, no wheels. Mic on the counter, files on the floor. Walk me through the timeline, then we ask once more. Side-eyeing every story, every hole, every gap. If the glove don't fit, then we redraw the map. From the cold case corners to the heat of the stand, he break it all down, so you finally understand. Clock on the wall, but the grind don't stop. Justice ain't blind, it just been cropped. Serve it up hot at the TruCrime Cafe. TruCrime. Breaking down the crazy. Put the lies on the tray. Making sense of the cray. Say what you feel. We shut down the bullshit. Don't give it no wheels. Serve it up hot at the TruCrime Cafe. Sip on the facts, let the fog burn away. Truth in the cup, take a taste, that's the deal. We shut down the bullshit. Don't give it no wheels.
All right. Welcome back to the cafe, y'all. It's a late night with Dago in the cafe. It is great to be back with you guys tonight. Welcome to the Idaho 4. We got some issues. Let's talk. This whole case is an issue, and we're going to talk about it. It's going to be a bitch session. There's going to be some whatever we talk about, guys, but I want to talk about it. So that's what we're back doing tonight on this late one. So welcome back in. Make sure you hit the like button, share it out. You know how this goes, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. And I think being that it's late, I won't run you through another intro. We'll just start right here. So thank you for being here, guys. Please make sure to hit the like button as you come through the door and share it out. Let everybody know what we're doing. Like I said, we got issues in the Idaho 4 case. As we all know, the whole case is an issue, but other things that are coming to the table that are surfacing that are just, I don't even know what to call it, guys. So we're going to discuss it. End of story. At least I'm going to. I'm going to get it out, voice it, and because it's bugging me. Some of this stuff is really bothering me, and it's bothering other creators as well. Things that we were told, that a lot of people expected, you know, and it's not what it's turning out to be. So, and I'm going to put myself also tonight. I think I'm going to point to my stance on certain things as well. That way, everybody knows I'm very, very comfortable in where I stand on this and what I think and what I feel. So that's where we're gonna go with it. That's what we're gonna do. So come on in, grab a seat, get off your feet, get comfortable, grab your cup and fill it up. Let's get into this mess, y'all. Please and thank you. Who we got joining us? SRB's in the house, Miss Bubbles. It's a late one for her, so she might only be here for a little while, but I'm grateful to see her. Dylan's in the house. Good to see you, buddy. Miss Leah, welcome back to you. Sleuther, welcome back. Great to see you. Miss Tandy, Seahawks fan, welcome back to you. Look at my blue crew jumping on in here, even at late night like this. I love it, and thank you for joining us, guys. Good to see you. Sleuther, Cat K. Oh, let me see here. MTD Park, welcome to you. Thank you for joining us. Circus Music, welcome back to you. Great to see you. Blue Devil, welcome back. Yeah, I only got to do part of my show earlier. I didn't get to finish that up either. I had to run to the doctors. Everything's good, but I don't know. I don't know. So I was talking to my crew earlier. Tammy C, good to see you. Lisa Winchester, welcome to you. Mr. Randy, my brother. Randy Fur, my brother from another mother. Good to see you. Baby Ames, welcome back to you. C Mastiff, welcome to you. Great to see you. Mikey, I know Mikey's in here. Let me see. The last 24. Missy, welcome to you. Anna D, great to see you tonight. Stephanie Gluty, I think it is. Welcome to you. Kim Barnier. Jay's Amaze. Love that name. Welcome. Good to see you. Miss Teresa, welcome back. Microdot, welcome. Great to see you. Sandra Kayoshi, welcome. The Canadian Cat Lady's in the house. Your question answered, dear, I hope. Again, guys, make sure to hit that like button on the way through the door and share it out if you will. Miss Rowe, welcome back to you. New Mexico, good to see you. Ms. Halls, good to see you as well. We may have to talk about that too, MTD. Susie Cusey, good to see you. Let me see. Matt Emblo in the house, good to see you, bro. Kohberger and Proud, good to see you, dear. Thank you for joining us tonight, guys. Let me see. I think I'm catching everybody. Tammy C, I did say hello. Welcome back. Like we got 98 peeps in the house and 47 likes. Mike Nugent, welcome to you. Good evening, my friend. Any relation to Mr. Ted? Tomboy, I see you. Mr. LF, welcome back. I can do till 4. I'll be hitting the pillow. It's 3:30. You got a half hour. I gotcha. Yes, all you UKers and down unders, it's different times of the day for you guys, so thank you so much for being here for that. And yes, please don't forget to hammer that like button. Trisha W, good to see you. Thank you very much, Steve Mastiff. I like. Thank you, thank you. All right, all right, all right, all right. So let me see something here. Dilly dill. Come on in, buddy. Hold on here a minute. All right, all right. Let's see here. So. Sunburn, huh? Come on in, guys. Grab a seat. Okay. J Love, welcome to you. I guess I'll bounce this off of Junior here and see what his thoughts are. All right. Welcome, sir. How are you tonight?
Oh, just another night in paradise.
You ain't gonna fall asleep on me, are you?
There you go. I can stay up till 4 if I want to, and then get up at 8.
Okay. Just making sure. Not everybody has not everybody has the same abilities as I do. Those are my superpowers. So yeah, I figured I needed to go live and do a little mouth yakking because I'm just irritated with some things and bugged by some things. Becky, good to see you tonight. Just saying. Just
Yeah,
saying.
I've been trying to kind of grasp on what's going on, but then everything dropped with Peter stuff, and it just completely broke off of that and focused on that stuff.
Sure, sure. That's where I
So,
it took me away from going back, which I'm gonna go back to that. Don't worry.
so yeah,
Heading back to the beginning.
yeah. I know Lana absolutely sounded off on Chris, which was absolutely legendary,
Yep.
and And then I know Cyray has a kind of a conflict, like he's got a weird method to
Well, we're gonna talk about him a little bit tonight. And
yeah.
it might upset some people. And remember, folks, to hold an open mind on everything. But yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that, guys, because I'm partially bothered by some of that. I got to be honest with you. So that's kind of what I need to voice my feelings on. Um, it's a problem. I know you guys have been following other creators and things going on. So we're going to break into some of that as well. And that's what my problem is these so-called experts. Um, I've already called out my feelings on what I believe with Whitcomb. You know that I believe he should have showed some proof.
Receipts.
Yeah, at least some receipts. And he did make a statement and said he was going to many of us, and he never did. So there's the problem with that. But I don't blame Lana because again, myself and Lana and Harsh, typically unique, Logan. All we want is truth. And we can't seem to get that no matter what we say, no matter what we do, no matter where we look. They refuse to give us the truth. So that's why we're all out here doing what we're doing. Yeah, he told Lana he would give her some stuff. He told Lee and the rest of us that he was going to be handing off some stuff to prove some things. And, well, guess what? Nothing. Nothing. That's a problem. That's a problem. So I don't know. We're going to get into a little bit of this Ray stuff. And again, everybody needs to keep an open mind and realize we've been told by many people different things. So, and a lot of these things, I don't even know how to explain what I'm thinking, you guys. My head is everywhere. Welcome, Tiki. Good to see you. So, we're going to get into a little bit of that and a little bit about standing for what you believe in and stuff like that. One of the things I told you guys, though, at least most of you, what, Rabbit, welcome. Um, one of the first things I said to you guys was when the whole Ray thing exploded was Cy's not going to come out to the world and say Bryan is innocent. Many people believed that Cy was going to come out and say, guys, Bryan didn't do this. He's innocent. It was never going to happen that way ever. So it's it is what it is. So every one of these people. Let me put it this way, and I know you guys understand. Hold on a minute here.
Yeah, I mean, with as far as Whitcomb's book goes, I was just gonna. It was never gonna be one of those where it's like, oh, here's here's the actual here's everything that actually happened. All he
Right.
really did was unredact names and threw it in the book.
Hmm.
And there was a and there was a level of expectation of him using his experience as someone who has been in the FBI and has dealt with cases similar to this of okay, what do you think happened? Use your expertise. What happened? Well, with everything that I have, it's XYZ. Here's the receipts. Here's why I believe that.
Well,
So,
go ahead.
and we
Sorry.
and we just never got that.
Right. I agree with you. And one thing I'm going to say straight out of the gate, my stance on this, okay? And that doesn't mean that I don't respect other people's feelings on it. I truly do. If you guys have a reason to believe what you believe and what you think, I respect that, folks. I love you guys. Every one of you, I truly do love you guys. No matter what you think. You can even for the people that are part of this community, if you think Bryan Kohberger did this, that doesn't mean I don't love you guys. Okay? That's your right, your feeling, your opinion, your thought. I'm not going to try to take that from anybody ever. Never. Okay? That is not my place. Yes. So that's funny, Kim. I love it. So that being said, I'm going to tell you right out of the gate, first and foremost, Dago, and that doesn't, I mean, if people decide to leave my community because of my feelings, that doesn't say a lot, but I'm going to say it anyway. I do not believe, nor have I ever believed. I've looked into it, I've talked about it, and I will continue to do that. That the people that committed this crime are from the fraternity. I don't believe that, guys. I never have believed that. Okay. Of course, I've looked at it, I've talked about it. Okay. But I could never believe that frat guys did this. And if you prove to me later down the road that it's true, then it is what it is. I'll eat every piece of crow you feed me. But I don't think that it was the fraternity, guys. I just don't. Because here's my problem with it. It's a bunch of guys that drink a lot. I can't believe they would be able to sit on this for 4 years and not slip up somewhere. That's what my biggest problem with it is, okay? But now, the other thing, I just put that stance out there. That doesn't mean I don't think that, like, somebody in here that thinks that the fraternities are involved in it, or that I will say this much. I think they do know about it, guilty knowledge, but I don't think they physically did it. That's what I'm saying, okay? Um, but I do believe they know, and they've known. That I will say that. I'm comfortable saying that I think that they've known, okay? But out of fear, believe it that or not, that's why nobody has said anything. That's why I think everybody's quiet. But I don't think they hands-on did it. That's just always been my thought on this. Go ahead, Dylan. You raised your hand.
Well, I was just saying, I think it begins and ends with the fraternities. Uh,
And I respect that, bud. I do.
Yeah, and I just have a tough time seeing an avenue of this being like one of those like drug deals going awry,
I think it's
or
way bigger than that, buddy. Way
or
bigger.
like even something higher than that. I think because the thing is, it's like a cover up upon a cover up, and lies upon lies,
Oh,
because
yeah.
because you have Dylan and Bethany lying, and then you have MPD lying about what their lies are, and then on top of
They
that
had
you
to
have
cover up they had to cover up the cover up, yes.
and then on top of that you have you have the fraternities covering their own asses, you have MPD covering their asses, you have ISP covering their asses, and so it's just it is such an entangled web of lies that it's very hard to pick through.
Sure.
And I think it all begins and ends with Idaho enrollment and
I
keeping
think
those
that
numbers up.
well, I mean, I can see why you would think that, and I can say that I think that the cover up itself definitely plays a big part of that. I can agree with you on that. That makes sense to me. The crime is what I was talking about with it. That's where I'm sideways on the fraternities. I don't think that they physically ran in and did what happened because there was more to it than that. I think it goes way, way higher. It involves people that are way more let me think of the right word to use here. Way, way more intimidating. Okay, I'll put it that way. Thank you so much, hot girl bummer. Appreciate that. Info locked down as cops protecting their own. That's a good point, and I appreciate that. Number one towards our goal for tonight. God bless, son. There's a lot of people involved in this, folks, and I mean important, big, big time people. And I said something a long time ago that I'll go back to here in a minute. But the first thing I want to jump on is this Ray thing. Okay, let's talk about that. I gave you my stance on what I believe. I'll tell you the rest of it here a little bit later. But this Ray thing has become an issue. He's got a book coming out. I'm going to be receiving a copy of it. I'm grateful for that. I'm going to read through it and see what it says. But I don't even know how to approach this. Okay. Cy dropped a document and was going to testify that it was an affidavit that he wrote where he said that he's never in the 30 plus years experience that he's had in law enforcement seen so much misinformation put out from the prosecution, so on and so forth. And he said, which leads him to believe that there is something much, much bigger going on here. I won't argue that point. And he did tell us that, which is what in turn, which which is what in turn brought the whole community to their knees to Ray. Okay. And then in turn, they believed that he was the savior, that he was going to prove that Bryan's innocent of this. Okay. So that is not the direction this is headed. He left, there was I can't remember, a whole chapter possibly, or because I haven't got it yet, but I've been seeing it all over the place, that he made a statement in his book that states that he believes Bryan's guilty. And then I think it was a Harsh did a video stating that he was reading off of an email that he believed that that Cy believes that Bryan's guilty as well. And I've never talked about this before, but I'm going to tell you guys. I myself received an email from somebody that received an email from Ray that said the same damn thing. I have it. Okay. I've had it since February. I never talked about it because I wanted to wait to see what Cy had to say when he came out and did the interview with Lana that he was going to do that he's never done and now he's not doing. That's a different story. I'm not going to get into that because you guys know how much I support Lana and stand behind her. And I'm not saying anybody did anything wrong. Okay. I just thought that was kind of wrong. And I'm at this point, I have to say that I had sent an email off to their organization And it wasn't one of me, it was one of my mods asking about an interview. I retracted that email as of now. I don't want that now. Okay? Because I don't trust these people now. I just don't. I don't I don't trust these people. I don't know if that how legit this email is, but it reads identical to the one that Harsh has. So there's a statement that was made, okay, that he believes Bryan Kohberger's guilty. He's always believed Bryan Kohberger's guilty. Okay. That's not how you portrayed your situation to the world in some aspects, knowing that people out here see things that they do. Okay. And he has the right to believe what he believes. But then he also threw in a piece of information into that statement that he made that really bothered my entire team, to be honest with you, by the way he said it. Everybody called it out. Okay. And said there are some mental health issues that need to be addressed. Bryan's where he belongs. I don't I don't like the way that sounds because here's my problem. What is Cy Ray? What does he do, folks? He's an expert in what field? And I know you guys have heard this on other channels now. I'm going to put my statement out here too because I received an email. He knows because they couldn't make that other route fit, so they buried the evidence. Right. And this is what's true, okay? This is what's true. That's what he knows to do. That's what he knows how to call out. That's what he can say is a problem. That's where he can call out the investigation saying that it was corrupted. That's not a problem. That's not an argument. That's a truth. We know that, okay? Cy Ray is not a psychiatrist. Cy Ray is not a psychologist, okay? No. So in turn, cannot or should not make a statement that there are mental health issues that need to be addressed. Bryan is where he belongs. You don't make that statement. Now I'm going to say this too one more time. Let me clarify something with you. I'm almost positive that the source that this came from is the real thing, verifiable. Okay? 99.959%. I'll say that. There's a very tiny little itty bitty percentage of me that thinks maybe not, but I'm at this point no. So to make that statement, you can't do that. You shouldn't do that. That's not your realm of expertise. And that's happened a lot out here, you guys. A lot. Ann Taylor accused Dr. Turvey of stepping outside the bounds of his world and making statements on shit he shouldn't have. And are we starting to see a trend here, folks? Truly and honestly, if this is all true, we're starting to see a bit of a trend, in my opinion. And I'm not saying Turvey was wrong. I'm not saying that none of the. I'm not going into that. What I'm saying is, it's kind of crazy out here right now with all this wild ass shit going on. That this person's saying this, and the guy that's dealing with the cell phone information becomes a psychiatrist, and the guy that's a crime scene expert becomes does doing something else. Like that doesn't look good. That's all I'm saying. But I will say the one thing I'm going to say that Cy is an expert in, and he does know. Okay, and I would listen to him say things, and I would listen to what he's talking about when it comes to his expertise, because I trust that he knows what he's doing with that. He's not a psychiatrist or a psychologist or any other person, so you can't be calling out. You can have opinion, but you should probably keep that opinion to yourself and not put it to the world as though you know it's a fact. Okay, that's the problem. So he's not a doctor unless he did something else. I mean, he's got a lot under his belt, folks. Don't get me wrong, but the last thing I did, I thought that there was a doctorate in psychology or anything, but maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? But it's kind of bothersome just to say, if that's true, to say something like that. So, you know, um, I don't know, you guys. He also told Lana certain topics and discussions were not allowed to be asked to him if he went. Yeah, well, it's the same thing he's doing on the custody queens, and this is nothing against them. Don't get me wrong. Um, I have no issues with them whatsoever. But my understanding is that if he's going to show up on the custody queens, they can't bring up anything that has to do with this case. Then what are you doing the interview for? Because all of our channels are based off of talking to people about the case, right or wrong, Dylan.
It's absolutely correct. It's literally going to Disney World and saying can't talk about Mickey Mouse.
Bingo. Thank you, sir. So he's got a book coming out. I understand it. So they're going to talk about his book. And I'm not being rude or disrespectful when I say this, but I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to lose the entire, in my opinion, the entirety of the chat. They don't want to hear about the book if you're not going to talk about Bryan Kohberger or if you're not going to talk about the Idaho 4 case. I'm not trying to speak for people, but I'm pretty much positive that's what would happen if they went off and started talking about, because this book is kind of like a textbook, kind of like a handbook for law enforcement or just people in the legal field per se. And he's promoting his book. Okay, that's good. But I'm going to tell you, by the way that this community is, that people would probably hang on for about 10 minutes. If nothing gets talked about the Idaho 4, they're going to see you later. So there's really no point behind it, is all I'm saying. And I think he knows that as well. Go ahead, Bud.
I was just going to say, you would have better data than I have, since you've been around a lot longer than I have in this niche. When you started talking about Nancy Guthrie, yeah, the numbers stayed high, but when you kept talking about it, they dropped. And then as soon as we shifted back to the Idaho 4, it went right back up. Correct?
Yeah, of course.
So, I mean,
that's what people want to hear. Yes, sir.
But in the case of talking about Nancy Guthrie, is you're not hiding the ball. Like the thumbnail's got Nancy on it. You're not hiding the ball.
Right.
And this is kind of where more of my expertise come in with trying to understand an audience. If you put out Cy-Ray, they're going to be fully expecting to talk about the Idaho 4 and phone data.
Anybody tell me that that's wrong, and I'm going to tell you you're wrong. I'm sorry, with all due respect. But yes, Dylan is absolutely right about that.
And when they come in and they're talking about this case that nobody's heard of, and that case that nobody's heard of, or in that case that only 6 people have heard of,
you're going to lose everybody. I'm telling you. In my opinion. I might be wrong. I hope I am wrong. I'll be honest with you. Truly and honestly, Dylan, I hope I'm wrong by saying that. Welcome, Ghost Horse. But yeah. I hope I'm wrong and that they can keep him talking and people stick around and they can learn something. That'd be great. Okay. But when you're not going to talk about this case that people have spent 4 years of their lives on, I'm going to say 4 years because we got a few months and it'll be 4 years. Lucy, you got some explaining to do. It's going to lose everybody, in my opinion, if you don't go it. Even in, and there might be a tiny little tidbit talked about, but it's not going to be anything that we don't already know. I'll tell you right now. But what I'm angry about, Tomboy, you have a link there if you want it. What I'm angry about is that statement, and I have it in the email that I received, word for word. Bryan Kohberger is guilty. Bryan Kohberger was always guilty. Okay. And a lot of people question seeing these, like, maybe it's because I even said it, you guys. Maybe, and he said, based on the evidence he was given, Bryan's guilty and he's always been guilty. Well, maybe they showed him the bullshit evidence that we've all seen, and that's what he meant. I don't believe that's what he meant. Hold on, guys. Thank you, White Rabbit. Beggars can't be choosers. Unfortunately, with Cy-Ray, we are beggars. Yes, that's a fact. That is a fact. I've said this before. I'm not trying to be rude. Cyray has FU money. He runs his show, not clout. Amen to that one. That is a fact. I'm not saying that. You are right, my friend. You are absolutely right.
Yeah,
Absolutely, you are correct.
yeah.
Welcome, Noel.
I mean, Cyray's got
You don't give
he's
two
been
shits what we think.
he's been working with law enforcement for 30 years or something like that.
30
Ob-
plus years. Yes, sir.
Obviously, he's not gonna jeopardize that by stepping out of line. Not for Bryan,
Nope.
but and what and I'm I would have to dive in a little bit deeper on this. But if he came in with the mentality of him being guilty right from the cuff, as opposed to let's see what the evidence tells us, I'm gonna look into it to see if there's grounds there for something to happen legally.
Well, I agree with that. Yeah. Welcome, Tomboy. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Welcome, Bomb Toy. Good to have you here. So, no, you're right, dude. I agree with you, but it's weird though because it's almost like there's a different mood now. Everybody ran with him like full speed and he allowed for it. He never changed and he never made any public statements changing anything. He never did this, he never did that. And we all know how that went down. But now, and I think this is in that portion of the book that's out, the statement that I just made. I was told that it's almost word for word that Bryan is guilty. He's always been guilty. He's where he belongs, and that there are some mental health issues that need to be addressed. Period.
That's
Wow.
that's another issue, that major issue that I have.
Well, let me.
He
Well, that my issue is when he said, after looking, after investigating further or whatever words he used, he's still guilty. Okay, you saw what the state wanted you to see, and we all know now that it was all bullshit.
Yeah.
So, what really did you looked at what they wanted you to look at to convict an innocent man?
I mean, and you're standing here. That's a good point to make right there because at the same time that you're saying that, you're calling out the investigation, which needs to be done. Don't get me wrong. Okay. And saying that he took the case on because he saw that the okay, let me rephrase something. He did say that Bryan is where he is and where he belongs, that he should be there because he's guilty, and that his problem basically in layman's terms is how they put him there. Okay? It's not that he's not guilty, it's how they got him to that point. They got Bryan to that point with a corrupt case and perverting the investigation, so on and so forth, is his words. But you can't you can't have both. Because he even says both things can be right at the same time. Meaning Bryan can be guilty and the investigation can be corrupted and perverted. Okay, I'll give you that.
in
Th-
theory,
There's a change somewhere is all I'm saying. Go ahead, Dylan.
that is true. However, in reality, it almost never is. If you can get them cleanly, you're going to get them cleanly. If you
Yes.
can't, then you have to do it the way that Moscow has done it.
Right. Well, now one other portion of what he said I forgot to tell you. That if Bryan were to magically or some by some dramatic crazy situation be let out of prison, he would kill again. Okay, interesting. And
Well, I
again,
mean,
my problem, and that's if you have an opinion, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have your own opinion. That's his own personal opinion. I get it. Okay, but you can't come forward, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. You can't come forward as an expert and put that out to the world as saying that from an expert's you know what I'm trying to say? I know I'm stuttering
y-
right now. I'm trying to think of how to say it.
from i- from an expert's opinion, he is saying that he's guilty with absolutely no evidence to back it up.
Bingo. Because that's not your frame of expertise, my friend.
It's above your pay grade.
Yeah. I hope that what I'm saying is making sense, you guys.
Yeah, if I can understand it, most people should probably understand it.
I know you guys get what I'm saying, okay? And I know this is what's upsetting me because it's affected other creators that I have a lot of respect for as well, okay? A lot. I'll show you a little clip of it, couple of it, or a couple clips of them too. This is not I this is not okay. If that's your opinion, you're welcome to express your opinion, but do not come forward as an expert and state that opinion to a community of people that believe in you and think that you're going to be the savior that's going to rip this case in half and prove this and that and everything else. And I've always said for years now, when we first met Cy, he's not going to do that, you guys. He's not going to come out and do that, you guys. And there's so many people that have relied on what Cy's going to do. No, nope. So at that point, I respect your opinion, but again, as an expert, you should have kind of kept that to yourself. That's just my opinion now. Okay, just saying.
Yeah, we as members of the media, of all media, we can have an opinion. The experts that are working on this case do not get to have that opinion. That's why they get paid. They get paid to do the job for which they are done and to do it in an unbiased manner. And I cannot trust that Cyray has done that in an unbiased manner
Well,
going
Well, he
into this.
paid.
let me say something. Oh, go ahead, Tomboy. I heard you. I'll say it
He
after
didn't.
you.
He didn't get paid. He didn't take any money for this case.
I don't know about. I don't know that, but obviously you do. So, um, beyond besides that point though, here's the thing: we all remember what happened when Dr. Turby came forward and made the statements he made. Right? Ann Taylor came right behind him and made the statement she did. Here's my question: is she going to do that again now with Cy?
Nope.
I mean, it's almost okay. Why do you think no? I like that you said that.
No, because I don't think Cy is gonna go too far off the reservation and go and pretty much turn the blasters onto Ann Taylor like Turvey did.
Well, that part I'm agreeing with. I don't see him doing it. I don't see him attacking Ann by any means. No. But even the statement that he's making, okay, because one more big thing we need to remember is Bryan's psychiatric evaluation, all that stuff. If you guys remember, all those documents were sealed. None of those were allowed to be seen by anybody. Remember that. So that's another thing, too, to take into account. But so, with that being said, being that it was not public knowledge, people are going to take Cy Ray's opinion as an expert opinion again, even though it's not his expertise. And he's kind of speaking out of his range just as much as Ann Taylor said that Turby did. So I'm wondering, is she going to say, hey, he should have never said this or that, so on and so forth? Um, that's what I'm curious to see if he's going to do or she's going to do. I don't know that she will. I'm just asking, opinions. Do you think she will? Because no, I don't believe that he's going to go at her and attack her that way. But he's already said his piece. It's in his book. It's out to the world. Some of us have gotten emails saying it that are old. This has been, I think February is when I got that email. I just never spoke on it because, again, I wanted to wait to see if Cy came out and said anything in his interview, but that's not going to happen now. So, I don't know what to think at this point. I mean, Tomboy Dylan gave his. Do you think that she'll say something in retaliation to what he said?
No,
You don't think so either? Okay.
no.
I hope that it doesn't come that way because it's just going to turn into another big kerploo. But uh, I gotta say, you know, I don't like the way this is going down. Not that it matters. It doesn't matter what I think. I'm nobody. Okay. I just don't. I don't like the way this has gone down, and I don't like the way this is looking. Um, something's off. I mean, something's off with the whole case. We know that. I have curiosities about things because let me go with this now. We saw when Gabriela Vargas came out as a witness, spoke on the stand. Uh-oh. The teacher's in the house now. Hey, hey.
Uh-oh.
There she is. Hello, Miss
I'm in
Kim. How
trouble.
are you?
Oh my
You
goodness.
better behave now, Dylan.
It's late
Um,
for me.
it's late for all of us, but I had to talk about this, Kim. I couldn't just sit on this. It's driving me nuts. Um,
Yeah.
I'm so bothered by this. Okay, there's so much of this shit happening. We Chris Whitcomb, and then Dr. Turby, and then Chris Holland, who again I feel is like nothing, but and now this stuff with Cy. I mean, this is such a mess. It truly is such a mess.
Well, you were talking about, is Ann Taylor gonna do to Cy what she did to Brent?
Coming
But
out and responding to what he said.
but what did he
The
say?
the statement that he was out of his wheelhouse. I'm putting it back in layman's terms because I can't remember exactly word for word what she said, but
Mhm.
like he now he signed an NDA, blah blah blah, so on and so forth, and that he's speaking on things that are out of his wheelhouse. In layman's terms, is basically what she said.
Well, I think we'll see on that interview
Yeah,
when he actually does speak, but
I agree. I
I
agree.
don't think he's going to, and I don't think he did in his book either. So to me, what I'm hearing is the only thing that that's how do I want to say this? That Ray is saying, "Oh, he's guilty," is coming from this email that you guys got.
Well, I guess it's in his book too somewhere. Somebody said it's almost the same statement word for word, which I haven't seen that. I'm just going based on people that have.
Well, I don't have the book, so I don't know what's in the whole book.
Right.
But so when he first dropped his preview, remember the preview and everybody
Yeah,
went
we talked about
crazy over
that.
that?
Yeah.
That was only like 20 pages. But now there's like 40 pages.
Okay.
So I read that, and he does say, I went into the case thinking he was guilty. He does say that. But then he also says, and it's very similar. I felt like the language is very similar to how Chris Whitcomb wrote his book. And he like Chris Whitcomb would always say, set that aside for now. We'll come back to it later, blah, blah, blah. And
Right.
Ray said, I'm not going to talk about guilt or innocence. We're going to leave that for the court. That's for trial.
Yes.
And I don't know, the way I took it, I feel like how Dylan said, he's not going to go against law enforcement. But
Right.
I got the feeling that he knows.
Well,
Yeah.
let me read something. And from best I can tell, this is definitely his response to the email that I'm reading from comes from his group. Okay, on that he has. It's an email from his
Team
whatever
or
you,
something.
yeah, whatever you call it. Yeah, sorry, it's late too. I'm a little tired. I'm sorry. So basically, somebody had emailed him saying, "Hey, what do you think about Bryan Kohberger, so on and so forth?" He basically starts it off saying the best way to approach this is to rip the Band-Aid off, type of way. Okay, just go all at it one time. Don't go easy. And it comes from his. I think Tomboy, you said you went and you looked, and it is definitely from his. What did you say it was? If she's still, is she still in here? Yeah, sure she is.
Yeah, she is unmuted.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
The email we talked about earlier when we were trying to make sure or look to see if it was from his.
It's from his Facebook group,
There
the
you go.
Socialite Crime Club or whatever.
Okay, so the words. Okay, it says Bryan Kohberger is guilty. He was always guilty. I knew when I took the case that he was guilty. As someone who has spent years sorting through the massive amount of evidence on this case, I have never doubted his guilt. Bryan is where he belongs. In the incredibly unlikely scenario that he is ever released from prison, I suspect he will kill again. There are mental health. This is my biggest problem with this whole statement. There are mental health issues here that cannot be ignored. That's how he said it. I'm sorry. So, that being said, that's what bothered me is to make a statement like that, being that you're not in the psychiatric field at all. If that's, his true feelings. And I get, if that's your opinion personally, I respect that fully as I do anybody that has different opinions. But being that you're an expert stating this to people is what I have. And somebody said, I guess, somewhere in the book that is almost word for word what he says in the book somewhere. He said it's completely possible for both scenarios to exist here. Bryan being guilty and the investigation being corrupted. And this is why there was a plea.
That makes no sense. Why would you corrupt an investigation?
Like, the thing is,
If you have the right person, what, like, that makes zero sense to me. We have the right person, but we're gonna F up the investigation.
Well, he says, where does he say it at? He does explain that. Where's it at? Hold on, bear with me. I'm slow tonight. He says something about the state knew what was coming in court and knew that it wouldn't go well for them. We forced them to offer the plea, which in a way is justice here. Bryan's where he needs to be. Now the investigators can be held responsible. And I can't get into all the details, but trust me when I say I am far from being done with this case. Not only will certain actors be held accountable, this will be a great learning lesson for law enforcement to learn from and do better. But up here before that, he says, what does he calls it? There it is. With that said, some of the investigators involved with the case lied and perverted the justice system to bring him to justice. So what he's saying is the reason why the case became corrupted was because they didn't have any evidence on Bryan, basically, which we all know that already. So
Right.
they lied and perverted the investigation to make sure that they got Bryan convicted of this, is what he's saying. So, I mean, I agree with him on this aspect that it is corrupted and perverted in that aspect. The whole investigation was. And he's saying
Yes,
they
yes,
only did
yes.
it because they didn't have evidence on Bryan. That's the reason behind it, I guess.
But see,
Go ahead.
that's where my problem is. Then how do you know he did it? How can you say, I know he did it, but I haven't seen any evidence that he did it? That's
That's
where
my
the
problem,
problem
Kim.
is.
Yes,
That's where the problem is.
bingo.
What is the first couple of statements, first couple of sentences? I came into it thinking he was guilty, and after looking at the evidence, I believe that he's guilty. Well, what evidence did you see? Did you see
Well,
the
that's
shit
what
that
I
the
said,
state
Kim.
gave you?
Right.
Oh
Remember?
yeah, that is at the begin. That's at the very beginning of the preview. Yes, you're right. You're right. You refreshed my memory. He says
So did you?
after reviewing everything, it strengthened that belief. That's how he said it.
Yes.
He said, I thought he was guilty, and after seeing everything, it strengthened my belief.
And remember when that first hit, Kim, you came into we were talking in the Discord, we were both kind of a little frantic over that, and we talked about it, and I said, well, maybe
Mhm.
he's meaning that the evidence that the prosecution showed him was so corrupted and bullshit that's why he believed Bryan was guilty. And I said that would make sense. But
Especially he's not a DNA person, and everybody says, or they say, someone says DNA, and they're like, oh, boom, you're done.
right. But with this statement, he's going all the way around that and just basically targeting head on, saying things like there's mental health issues here that can't be ignored. I've always believed Bryan was guilty, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And then he said, which I didn't read yet, he said down here, and perverted the justice system to bring him to justice. I will always stand firm on that notion. The end result can never justify the means, which I know you guys would probably understand that. That is, and this right here is what got me. That is why I took this case, to hold those responsible.
he's
So he's
talking out of
saying the
both sides
reason
of
why
his
he
mouth.
took this case was that he saw the corruption right away. So that's why he decided to take it on, which is interesting because the man never took on a case on the defense side ever.
Yeah.
So I'm just I'm flabbergasted.
I just don't. This is such a if this is such a stupid game to me. Like it's simple. If you're guilty, show the evidence that he's guilty.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
why is it this convoluted thing?
With everybody.
It's infuriating, and that's
I've
why I
nev-
stand where I stand. I'm not going to believe it until one single person. I mean, it could be DNA. It could
Anybody.
be Cyrus showing his locations. You know, it could be a witness that puts him there or whatever, or someone
Anything.
Someone
Yes.
come forward and say, you know, this is why we did it, and I helped Bryan, and I don't know.
Anything,
So these
Kim.
experts
Anything.
get paid by that million plus money that Governor Little gave the city of Moscow to help with their investigation. Did they use this to pay all these experts? Pay them off?
So the thing is, Cyrus is saying that the end doesn't justify the means, but he's pretty much saying the opposite, just in a word salad. Because the evidence that he has found further exonerates Bryan Kohberger because it separates the car from the phone, and so the phone is gone, the car is gone,
Lena.
Hi, Lana.
and then you have and hey Lana, big fan. But the phone is gone, the car is gone. You can even less likely put him at the house because it's not even headed that direction when the phone goes off. And so it's so hard to it's hard to take him seriously when he's saying Bryan's always guilty. He's always been guilty. Here's evidence proving he's not.
I think you just said it in a nutshell, Dylan.
And I'm going to point something else out too. If this is true,
Clip
okay.
that.
Lucy says to Lana, didn't Cy tell you that cops, none of the police did anything wrong? If that's true, this is a complete and total 360 from that, okay? Because that's all he's saying is wrong is the investigation, not Bryan. Or I mean nothing else. I'm sorry. But Bryan is yeah, there it is. Lana says in the book, Cy says there were no bad actors.
Yeah.
Now, okay. Thank you, Lana.
Yeah,
God, I love you. Here's what he says.
No bad actors, just a bad script.
Let me go back to what he said in this,
It's the
though. There's
system.
Yeah, there's no bad actors, meaning the police, okay, or prosecution or any of that. But over here, he said, Jesus Christ, I'm so flipping wired. Hold on. That the bad actors and investigators will be held accountable. Am I confused?
I feel like he doesn't want to publicly say it. To me personally, and I've only read the preview pages. I don't have the book. I mean, I keep saying that, but personally, I feel like he, in his own way, is saying it. He's saying it. I can read between the lines what he's saying. He's calling it out, but he's trying to cover it with like, oh, it's decision making or
Sugarcoating
system, or it's not anybody individually. Like he's not going to do that.
Well, he put that affidavit out, okay, that Hitler called him a conspiracy theorist on, and he said what he said there, and now he's coming back this way and saying it a different way. So, did he take some backlash because of that statement that he made where he got called a conspiracy theory? I mean, is that why he's sugarcoating things now? That's why we're talking about this, you guys. We're working through all of the things.
His livelihood, he's selling courses to law enforcement. That's his
then
livelihood.
Right. I agree with you, Kim. But then why
Who's
did he
gonna
come forward
buy
and
in
say it to
dude's
begin with?
horses if he pisses them off?
I fully agree with you. I fully agree with you.
Lana said that Cy told her the opposite
What opposite? Wait,
about
let
the
me
bad
see.
actors.
If you ask, oh yeah. Privately, he'll say it, but he's not going to say it
Yes.
publicly.
Well,
Yeah.
see, and that's what he said, though. Here's the thing, Lana. Like, you know
Yes.
this too. No questions are to be asked about the Idaho 4 and Bryan Kohberger case. Well,
But he uses that case as his prime example, and
I know.
I was misunderstood about the book. Like when I
Keep going.
first
I'll be
looked
right back.
when I first looked at the book and I read the table of contents, I thought only the last chapter of the book looked like it was going to be about the Bryan Kohberger case. So I thought, I don't want to buy a book for one chapter, but the preview now makes it seem like he refers to it throughout the whole book, which was interesting. And also, I don't think it's going to read like a textbook manual. It was very interesting. I thought it was easy to read. I don't know.
Well, I still can't read, so I'm gonna need you to read that to me.
I'll do the audio. I'll do the audio book.
But yeah, I mean, after hearing all that, I just can't take him seriously, and now I'm beginning to question his part of the data as well. And of course, once Dago comes back and
that's what happens when you do something like this.
Yeah, Lana said she'll come up.
Oh, here, I'll give you the link. Here you go, girlfriend. Come on up here. There it is. Come on down, Mr. Oriani.
But yeah, I mean, it makes me question. Like, we know MPD's timeline makes no sense, but
No.
again, I can't trust Cyray's timeline if he's coming out saying 18 different things. He's saying Bryan Kohberger's guilty, and oh yeah, here's some more exculpatory evidence for you.
Right. And first and foremost, I have to say this. Italians do it better. I absolutely love and agree with your name. And she said, with Ellie having a spotlight on them lately, this isn't a good look for them. Just shows what a lot believe. They rather actually looking for the truth than rather actually looking for the truth, no matter what it be. Amen to that one, sweetheart. I swear to God. That's one of the best statements I've seen in a long time. I love your name. I really do. That's awesome. We do everything better. True crime, all of it. I'm just kidding.
I talked a lot about when I was talking about this, like how hard it is to be in a system and try to call out the system. Like I lived
Sure.
it. I lived it in the education world.
Welcome,
Hi,
Miss
Lana.
Oriani. How are you?
What's up? Hello, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Okay,
How you
good.
doing?
I'm good. I'm doing this from
All
my
right.
phone.
Look, there you go, Tomboy. You're on panel with Lana. You guys got your show
Hi.
together.
What's up,
Hi,
Tomboy?
Lana.
How are you?
Oh, I'm great.
Oh, good, good. Happy Thursday.
Yes.
Friday Junior, yes, ma'am.
You know it.
So
Here, I was just gonna tell you really quick. It's really simple to understand is that the book says that this was a case that there wasn't like it was like a, it's a systematic failure. It's not that there was bad actors. And I'm like, what?
that's what he's saying.
What?
But-
No, yeah, that's what I have an issue with. Is it's
Well,
like,
no, yes. I was gonna
No.
say you did your show the other day, and I was screaming back at you through the screen. This is not a fucking systematic failure. People make choices. They made choices. I fully agree with you.
yeah, and the reason that I feel this way though is because when you know that what you were told by the same person who's writing that, and you're told that these people lied, like
Right.
so that's where it's like, I consider lying bad acting. As a bad actor.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
failing.
Yes.
Writing out a probable cause affidavit that's 18 or 19 pages and having subject matter experts acting like evidence says something that it doesn't say in order to obtain probable cause to get people's phones or people's, whatever it may be.
Yes.
It's like, what do you, and that's what the much larger issue is. And so it's like,
So
if you,
then let me ask you this, Lana. Why?
well, because in his
Like,
book, when you get to a certain chapter, he talks about, because his book is about methodology. So
yes.
it's a big
Mhm.
thing about, like, if you take a criminal justice course and you go to college and you're like, okay, I'm going to take up criminal justice and I'm going to do, there's different like little branches you can go off of it. But
Right.
when you're taking like your methods course and it's like a 3-level or 400 level course, and it's going through, there's a bunch of different people in the criminal justice world that develop shit.
Yeah.
And so he gets to the point of his book where he talks about that, he wants to implement this 12 step. I can't remember if it's 12 step, 13, 14. I think it's 12 steps. And they're called rules. And it's like, at one point in his book, he says, now this is designed for thinking and knowing that the people that are doing the investigation, aren't like, basically aren't lying, aren't making shit up. And so it's like, that's the part that I circled and highlighted and said to myself, this is what I've been saying, is that, yeah, if somebody is going by what truly the evidence shows you and isn't lying, and that's the human element that you're never going to be able to weed out when you're talking about systematic failure. Like, these are people that are choosing to either act in concert to fuck around, or whether it's just one person, or whether it's like a bunch of people that had to sit down at a round table and say, like, hey, we all know that we're bending the rules here, but we got to kind of take this to the grave. You get what I'm trying to say? And like,
Absolutely.
or it's like, these little peons that are like Moscow Police Department locals that don't know what the fuck they're doing, and they've never filled out a search warrant. And they don't know what the data truly says. Who's going to
Right.
come back and fight the FBI guy who has 30 years experience when someone's telling you, hey, this is what the data says? You have no idea what the data says when you're just like this rookie, right? Supposedly, or like, but then I'm over here like, how is Maury a rookie? He's not. How is
No.
Detective Blaker, 26 years?
Talbot. None of them.
Like, I'm just saying, like, it's like, this was not a systematic failure unless you want to call the system in its entirety corrupt, which
Right.
he will have to come out and say that, okay, people are interpreting this not the right way. But I think that I can read, and I think that I can comprehend.
Yes.
And I spent 2 to 3 straight days reading 588 pages. Like, I know what I read.
Right.
And I know what you're saying here, and that the digital world is different now, and pattern of life. I get all of that. I am not knocking the methodology that you want to talk about, how you want independent. So it's like this, an independent. So if I have a phone record, okay, it has to be
Right.
able to independently speak for itself. If I have to say anything about something, then that's not a primary, then you're going into like secondary. And this is talking about the methodologies of how
Right.
he's
Right.
basically saying that if you use my new methods, this will never happen. And I'm over here saying, actually, you're wrong, because
It
when you
always
get to,
comes down to the
yeah,
people.
it always comes down to the people. When you get to rule
Yes.
6 and 7, you specifically say, now we're all taking into account here that the first 1 through 6 rules are being done by people that have, personal pride, people that have,
Right.
they're not corrupt. They're not lying. They're being honest about the material. And I'm just like, that's my point. And that
Right.
was your
Right.
point in your fucking affidavit. I know what the fuck you wrote.
Thank you.
I know why
Bingo.
you said what you said, because they were lying. Ashley Jennings is lying. And then there's
They
a bigger,
brought in the
larger
fucking
issue here, is
Keystone
because the
Cops
judge,
from
everyone's looking
monastery.
the other way. That's
Right.
that's the much
Lana,
larger issue.
Lana, here's the thing though. How I don't understand how he can say that Bryan's guilty
Well, because
and
no, hold on. He's not saying Bryan's guilty. That's what he thinks. He's allowed to have his gut opinion.
okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So like,
but the way
I would
he
never write that in a
worded it,
book,
though,
though.
the way
Why
he
would you
worded
write that in a book?
is I went into it thinking Bryan was guilty, and then it strengthened that belief. So it's his belief, and it's just strengthened. So I guess that's not
Yeah,
saying
and then
100%.
and then there's so much bullshit right there. Let me tell you why. Because you didn't get to see the evidence, and so
Right.
I want you to come out and I want you to tell the world
Bingo.
that you were given the discovery because you weren't. Because
No.
you
Right.
were only given the portion that you were supposed to do. And you know
Yes.
how I know that? Because of the way that Ann Taylor had to run the investigation or had to do her job because everything had a protective order on it.
Right.
And that's what Pav was saying when he said that they were all kept in silos. They weren't talking back and
Correct.
forth to each other. None of
There-
that.
there-
He's absolutely right about that. So they're at that
I was
point.
the one that told Cy that there was a fucking plea deal. He didn't even know that.
I remember you saying that. See? I remember
Okay.
you saying that.
I mean, I'm just
And that's what bothers me about all of this, because he's making these statements based off of. I agree with you. He can't have his opinion. I was just talking about that
Yeah.
before you came up here. That's absolute, guys. Everybody should have their own opinions.
But what's
But
your
you're
opinion based off of? And
Thank you.
you have had 25, 30, how many years in law enforcement? If these people are lying, you don't want to maybe find out why?
Yep.
Why
Well,
they needed to
that's what I
lie to do all of this? And
that's
then the most important part is he knows. You guys, preservation is the most important thing that you could ever do in an investigation because you have no idea what you could potentially need down the road. And
Right.
so these people deviated from FBI, federal policy, the way that they do things. They go around and they preserve and set up these geofences all over. They only set up a geofence, from what I can see in the beginning, for if somebody was on foot walking. Because those were just 3 little spots that they did all around the house. They did Valenta area, they did Linda Lane, and they did right by the King house. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't you have geofences set up? Because you would have probably got it approved. Because I saw it done in the Shanna Gardner case, when it was federal people that were working out of the ATF. Why wouldn't you set up a geofence at the east, north, south, and west of Moscow, the entry points to your city? And
Yeah.
then you
Right.
would set one up in WSU right there on the 270 corridor when you're taking that street across that road, the main way to get
Yeah.
there. You would set it up right there and there's only one reason that you wouldn't, because you already know what the fuck could potentially be on there. Like, I don't know,
Yep.
Curtis Whitcomb, his cell phone hits
Right.
and is crossing over because he left work early. I'm just throwing that out there. It's almost like
No,
these
it's a good
people
point.
knew what not to go and preserve because of what it potentially could show.
Right.
Not, and that to me is like, but as
Well-
an investigator,
But I heard this statement. Like, I really want to understand this. I heard the statement that if he's on the side of, oh, what I've seen is guilty or whatever, why on earth would cops who have the right person corrupt an investigate? Why would they fake an investigation if they have the right person? That's like how I heard it. And I'm like, that makes no sense.
That's not how he says it. I don't know who told you that like that. That's not what, no. What Cyril is saying is that you don't railroad people. And
Right.
so if he took this, you should ask the main question to ask Cyril is, truthfully, why did you take this case? And I believe that the truth is that you have seen the FBI use cast and testify to cast and say cast is saying something that it does not. Okay?
Right.
Which would
Yep.
be railroading somebody. You are taking evidence that does not exist, right?
Right.
And you're making it seem like it does exist, just like you did in this case with that probable cause. That phone didn't fucking shut off at 2:47. And then
Nope.
the biggest part about all of this is there's another big part that you're going to find out in the book, is that not only did the phone not shut off at 2:47, they knew that, but then the direction of the car where it was headed, they write down that it's going the wrong direction that it
Right.
truly is going.
Yes.
That's like the next big thing. And so these were like called all independent things. And then the next thing that it does is that they have labeled the tower that Bryan Kohberger's phone originally started on at 2:42 as the home tower, providing service to 1630. Okay. Do you know what tower Bryan Kohberger is on at 2:50 and 54 seconds? Not 2:54, at 2:50. At 2:50, Bryan Kohberger then goes back on his home tower, which is the 16, which is consistent with being at his apartment.
But don't you
Mhm.
think if he was but was he already
But
leaving
that's how
in the
you would have
car?
to say it.
Was he leaving in the car?
No, he was never. No. So like, for them to say what they said, you
Because if
would
he was
then have to
leaving in the car
continue to
going one
say it.
direction and turned around and came
No,
back,
no,
then
none of
he
that.
would
No,
hit on it
none of that
twice.
happened. None of that happened.
That's what she's saying. It never happened.
That's what I'm trying to say. That this is what happened. is
How do we
that
know that didn't happen? Because I thought there's video of him at the intersection.
No, that's the whole point. They're trying to say that that's his car. That's not his
It's not.
car.
Yeah, that's the wrong car, Kim. That's what you were saying before. Remember with the whole
Okay.
fog lights
That's
and all
why
that
they
other
had to
stuff?
say. So at 2:42, they're saying Bryan Kohberger is on a specific tower. Okay,
Right.
and that tower at 2:42 is consistent with if he is at home. That's what the tower that his house would be being off of if he's making a call from his house. At 2:42, then the next time that they're able to then talk about a tower is then they say that at 2:40, I don't know what time it was, 2:47,
Right.
the car, the
Yeah.
phone is the phone is moving. What they say this direction, whatever the fuck direction they want to say,
Yeah, yeah.
which is consistent with the movements of the SV1, whatever they're calling it. So that's the vehicle one, okay? And then the reason they have to say that the phone shut off at 2:48, when that's not what happens, or 2:47, whatever fucking time it was, is because they actually know that there's a bunch of other movements after 2:48. So that's where Cyray would come in and knowingly know that the people that like worked on this case, and that the FBI people know about handoffs. You see a search warrant that says that you got someone's timing advance, or that's what you're going after, all this shit, and it doesn't come back in the search warrant that you didn't get those. It would
Right.
say to you that those records were non-responsive, and it would specifically tell you what it was not responsive in. But that's not what happened. What happened in the search warrant return is that you got the records that you requested, just like you did when you requested Kaylee's, Maddie's, everybody else's. And so here in this one, when Ashley Jennings, that's why he went at Ashley Jennings,
Yep.
because Ashley Jennings was responsible for this search warrant. Ashley Jennings signed off on this search warrant. Ann Taylor could have made Ashley Jennings a fucking witness if she wanted to,
Yeah.
because she was a witness to technically in this case, and they should have. And that's why they brought the AG's office on, because they thought that was potentially a route that was going to be taken, and it should be. It should still be. If they go, and if Bryan Kohberger went to trial, I believe that he will get it. But what pisses me off is that you cannot sit here and tell me, when this all gets explained and you guys get to read it in your own brains and learn it
Yeah.
however you like, learn it.
Right. Right.
What you're going to see is that these are motherfucking liars. That
We know that. We
Yeah.
know that part.
Yeah, these motherfuckers, because guess what? That phone, okay, doesn't move in concert with that car.
Right.
That phone is back on the 1690 Steptoe apartment at 2:50. Then the phone is still doing shit until 2:54 in whenever time. And guess what though? At 2:54, when the phone, is no longer reporting to a network, he's on his home tower, which is consistent with a male being home at their apartment at 3 fucking o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Which is normal. So that's the big bomb.
Wow.
This motherfucker is home. Okay. So, and they knew that because they've already labeled the tower that he was on as being consistent at 2:42,
Yes.
serving his house. And then they knew that it went back. So when people are like, oh, because it was going this way, and where they fucked up in the oral arguments, Ann Taylor made a huge mistake when she wants to talk about when they did the suppression hearing, when Officer Payne wrote in the the probable cause, he's talking about directions, that
Yeah.
the car was moving south towards Moscow, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And how he kind of worded it was, he's like, well, Officer Payne didn't lie because he said the car was moving south. It's like, no, you should have never talked about directions. You
Right.
should have been talking about the fact that Officer Payne labeled at 2:42 that Bryan's phone was on a specific tower that served services to his apartment. And then you are claiming that he left his apartment.
You're
But then
right.
the next tower, it goes back onto the one that's his apartment. So we can't be moving anywhere but just closer to home, if not at home. Because he's
Right.
now back on, which would put him, you get what I'm trying to say? Like, you were moving
Yes.
away from your house, now you're back at your house.
Yes. Yes.
That's what is consistent with, because once you've already labeled it that that's the tower that is consistent to serve your home, then you have to say that same sentence then at 2:50. That's why they said the phone was not reporting at 2:48, because they never wanted to clock the 2:50 and some change. And then when you're actually writing your stupid warrant, your probable cause here, when
Right.
you get to the 250 part or 254 part, when you'd actually have to be telling the truth, the statement is that yes, it's no longer reporting, okay, but you could never say that it was no longer reporting after it was already traveling to Moscow. Like, that's not how it would be worded. It would be worded that it would look like, because you don't have the Cellbrite yet, and that's something that Cyray's book, and
Yeah.
I'm going to point that out. It's like, dude, they didn't even have that yet. So they like Pain in them, they didn't know if that was powered down manually or anything like that, right?
Right.
And they would have never known. To the day is young. You want to know why? Because they would have never got the warrants that they wanted.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what the much larger issue is here, is that all of these statements are lies. And then the much larger issue is that they never changed, they never corrected stuff, and those lies were able to make it through all the way. It kept on, like, it was lying in grand jury, people are lying, everyone's just lying. And then the prosecutors are lying as well. And then now here we have a judge that's gonna fucking lie and look the other way now too. It's made it through now 2 judges. And
Yeah.
then Cyray's gonna write a fucking book and tell me that there's not bad actors here? Get the fuck out of here.
So that's
I'm
what
not
I was going to
endorse
ask
that.
you.
That's a bunch of crap.
That's what I wanted to ask you was, where do you think the
But I
disconnect
love
is?
him, and I love Carrie.
I
And
mean,
it's just like, that's not your test case. That's not the case to do it
Yeah.
unless you're going to show like the truth about it, which it's a
Yeah.
bombshell revelation if you say the truth. But guess what? Do you think that he's going to be working with law enforcement? You think they're going to be like, yeah, that's the guy that took down, you know what I mean? Like,
so
he
is
wants
that
to just say it's a broken system and let me use my stuff to fix it, and everything's all great.
you're right? That's how it plays. Bingo. That
And I'm just
bingo
like,
right there.
And I'm just like, no, nothing's all great here. You need people like that the fuck out of law enforcement.
Yes. That's the problem right there.
Because it's all over. It's in Boston. It's, you name the state, you name the city. People like what they just did here, they're everywhere. And it's character flaws, and they need to go. This is not a systematic failure unless you want to start talking about,
Yeah.
well, maybe we need to start just, everybody's going to be, you're a walking camera. And you know what we need to start maybe doing is, just like doctors have malpractice where they have all their insurance and shit,
Yeah.
maybe all these police officers need to start being insured. And if people won't insure you, then you don't get it. Like, then you're just uninsurable, so you don't have a job. But that's
Yeah,
when I'm talking about
and you can be
systematic failure
sued,
and
like
change. That's
doctors
what I'm
get
talking.
sued, so you would get sued if there was an issue.
Yeah, exactly. And then you'd have to go fight it, just like how anything else would be. Like,
Yeah.
people should be like, you should be at your job. Like, if I was to slip and fall at my job, I'm able to sue, right?
Yeah.
So like, I can usually sue other citizens, right? Because if you're violating my civil rights or doing whatever the fuck you're trying to do, but
Well, like doctors. Yeah, yeah.
Well,
yeah,
let me
like,
ask.
For a second
you-
though, so why, sorry, Dago, why would Ann Taylor give an alibi of him driving around? So are you saying that he like left later?
yeah, I'm saying that absolutely. That was well, first of all, you would never, Ann Taylor, that's where ineffective assistance of counsel, you would have a really good claim. You don't ever have to claim an alibi. So
Oh.
why you would ever come out and say anything like that, right? But here, if you actually look at it, depending on because if Ann Taylor was trying to get in front of something, because it's like, hey, well, we're going to announce this now because I don't want any of you guys to say that we saw the Cellbrite download, because Bryan already knew where he was at and what he was doing. But I'm over here just thinking, dude, it doesn't matter because they would have never got the warrant. So all of that to me is like you're on step like 5 and you're never getting to 5 because you're not getting past 1. You're never getting a search warrant for anything in this case to do with Bryan Kohberger because none of that shit, like you lied, and everything that was material in that in all those affidavits are fucking lies. And so yeah, anybody can get search warrants for anything if we're all allowed to just lie. And if we and then when we're asked like to prove it eventually, because when we're having suppression hearings or we're having whatever the motion pre-trial is, and we're not following the law, and a judge is just able to make your own arguments for you as a prosecutor, I mean, get the fuck out of here. This is not it. And I'm sorry, but I think that if this would have happened in Florida under Judge Kite, I think that this gets suppressed. Look at what happened with Luigi Mangione. Half of his shit got suppressed. This case should have suppressed all of this stuff because it's so egregious. Because what it technically looks like is it looks like a guy was on his home tower at his house, and then his phone stopped reporting, which people put their phones in airplane mode at night. People shut their phones off when they sleep. You know what I mean? There's like, you just can't speculate. And that's all they would have been able to say. And nobody is giving you a search warrant. The reason that they were able to get their search warrants is because they said the phone and the car were moving together, and that was him. And then it ended up in Moscow because it was the 326 car in the middle of the fucking road. It's all lies because they know whose car it is at 326 actually, and it's the fucking undercovers. It's all a lie. And that's my issue with Cy, is I said, I don't think you know the case that well. I'll go toe-to-toe with you with the case. He said, you don't want me to interview you. I said, you might need a lawyer if I interview you. I'm not even playing. Like, it's just only.
No, I agree with you. I agree
I was
with
like,
you.
I will go up against anybody when you want to talk about the facts of this case in any document and in the timeline and the actual order of events that took place in this case.
Right.
Dude, dude, you're an expert. You have a ton of other cases. I only expect you to know your expertise, okay?
Right.
And what you were hired to do.
That's what I'm confused about.
To come out here and act like you know the whole case inside and out, I'm like, I don't believe that you do. Sorry.
I agree with you. That's what my problem was.
Prove to me that you've gotten. I want to know what Ann Taylor signed off for you to look at in this case. Because I don't think that he should be saying shit about Brent Turvey.
Nope.
Because Brent Turvey that was what he's doing. Like, you didn't hear Brent Turvey talking about the fucking cell phones and shit, did you?
Nope. That's what I was saying earlier. And do you think
that's where I can at least say that? Like,
do you think that Ann is going to come out now and make a statement against Cy the same way she did about Turvey?
I think that Cy shouldn't talk. I agree. Otherwise, you're no different.
I agree.
But like, 100%. If you believe, if you're in an NDA, just like, I'm sorry, but Turvey and Turvey didn't even need to talk. Turvey, give yourself like you did to Chris Whitcomb, or however Chris Whitcomb got his shit right. He's the whistleblower that wants to be it for everybody.
Yep.
And then guess what though? Start producing those receipts and
That's what I said.
them enough to like, be polite and whatever. But if you think something totally crazy happened here, then and you say, hey, I just wanted to get the ball rolling. Well, guess what? In order for the ball to continue to roll, I'm going to need those fucking files that you said you can get to me, which you haven't. And
that's what I said to everybody earlier. I said, he told you, he told Lee and the rest of us, I have stuff to give to you. In fact, he told you on Lee's show with us, I got so much stuff for you, Lana, so on and so forth, blah, 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 blah. And I said to them earlier, I said, as far as I can tell right now, she's not gotten anything other than like one dumbass picture or something that we all got of Dylan laying on the couch. That's the only thing I've seen. Like, where's the rest of the receipts, bro? Come on. You can't say all this stuff without showing it.
Like a little bit of the diary stuff because I asked to see that.
Yeah.
Because like I said, if I'm going to speak on something, I'm not going to spread rumors.
Of course.
I just think it's like it comes down to this, guys. If these people all lied about something, right? Okay, they all lied about something. Listen, in this investigation, they were going and interviewing. Just somebody said your name, we came and we interviewed you.
Yes.
Why didn't they just do that in this case with him? Just
no idea.
Like, guess what? Because if he thinks he's the smartest man in the room, when you go and toss him, what do you think he's going to do? You think he's going to be like, no, you can't have my cell phone if you wanted to download it, or
Yeah,
You
right.
can't like, hey, we queried all these cars like they said, right?
Hmm.
It just, if these people were lying like this, how can you believe anything? And
That's what
that's
I've
why
been
Karen
saying for
Reed
the
was
past
found
3 days.
innocent, or that's why
Right.
Karen Reed was found not guilty. Because you guys, Karen Reed has so much more. There is so much more against Karen Reed. You would
Hmm.
have to believe that the tail light was planted, right?
Yes.
And then you'd have to believe, which means that who did it? She didn't plant the shit on herself,
Oh, right. Right.
Who is it?
Yeah, we
It's
all
either
know
law
it.
enforcement, But when you look at Bryan Kohberger case, there is one piece of evidence against this man, and it is a piece, and it's a movable foreign object to the crime scene.
Right.
Which
I feel like it's garbage
Okay,
evidence anyway.
it's not like it was. Now you put like, and then I look at Richard Allen, and he supposedly stabbed and undressed 2 girls, right? And drug
Right.
them through the freaking woods and shit. And
By
then you know
himself.
how hard it is to redress somebody in wet clothes?
By
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And to do this all in 20 minutes, and you didn't get any of your fucking DNA.
Nope.
And guess what they don't do in Indiana? They do not do anything with touch DNA. They don't use IgG. I heard this woman
Surprise.
testify for like 6 hours about it. And I was just like blown away.
Right.
Because I'm over here like, wow, if the Idaho 4 case was actually in Indiana, we wouldn't have anything, because they do their lab. Also, they only have one person that does everything to do with the case.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so there's not cross contamination, and which I kind of like,
I fully agree with you. Yes.
it makes
I
sense.
do.
Like I mean, I'm talking about like the testing stuff. So
No, I understand what you mean.
yeah. So for me with this case, it's like, once you see that these people are capable of lying their asses off because they determined this is the right guy. What makes you determine that it was the right guy? Because you used
That's my
IgG.
question.
Right.
That's like, how
Now,
did
but now, did you really use IgG? That's because now we
That's
can question
what I
that.
said. Yes. That's what I've been
Because
saying
I
is I
think
don't
you
believe
hide
they
behind
did.
IgG, and you
Yep.
got his name somewhere else by just the name being said, and
Thank
somebody
you.
popped it up. But you
Thank
can never
you.
say that, so you're gonna have to create. And you know who agrees with me on that? Gabriela Vargas. So take that one.
I'm sure she does. I'm sure she does.
So
I
there's
agree with
something that
you.
I
I've
haven't put
been
out
saying that.
publicly. So there's that.
It,
She's like, Lana,
well,
you nailed the timeline and how long it would take. And she's like,
yep.
I thought for sure that you had already taken classes, and that you were actually a genealogist or something that I didn't know about, because you were over here knowing the intern
Yeah.
policy, and how long it would have taken, and where things would have been at in the system, or where we would have been in that process, and how many lines of communication it has to go through. Like, where are all these emails? Because the prosecutor is the one that signs off on every single step in that intern policy. So there
Right.
has to be an email, and then there's supposed to be search warrants. And so
Yep.
it's just like, and then you have to pay to put your kid into the law enforcement division, which is like $500 to $700. Where's the receipt on that? And so it's just like, and I said, hey, do you think it's at all possible? Would anybody ever want to hide behind IgG? I said, because think about it. This could be a case that puts it on the map, like, and then you're talking about multi-millions of dollars, like, if you invested in blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm just trying, I'm like,
That's what they're doing.
and so,
That
and
is
I was
what
like,
they're doing.
would you ever think that could ever happen? And she says, without a doubt, yeah, that could happen.
I mean, it's
Totally.
a really good thing, big thing to hide behind, truly and honestly, because everybody thinks it's the greatest thing in the world right now. Yeah. So my
So
question
it's
to
just,
you,
and then she also said there's no way in hell that nobody would ever not save their work. Like, you'd want credit for taking them
agreed.
down. Like,
Right. Yes.
and so to think that you're going to do all this building of a tree, that's why I flew to California. And I was like, I want to see what it looks like when you're working on a case. And I want to see, like, do you have a bunch of notebooks out? Do you have this? I documented all this shit, because I was like, dude, this would have taken, she's like, Lana, there's some cases it takes me like 3 years.
Yep.
yeah?
I remember that. I remember
And
that.
I'm just like, I was like, do you think that this could have happened? And she's like, yeah, Othram has the technology to do X, Y, Z. But she's like, that's great. She's like, but then to work it, she's like, especially if you have way low matches, she's like, Jesus, you're like, no, you're swinging, you're chopping away for days, weeks, months,
Right.
years.
Right.
Yep.
And so that's when I was like explaining the process to her, just like the timeline, because this was way after the fact, mind you guys. Like that girl did not violate anything. This is our conversations after the fact. She
No, of
was released
course
from her
not.
stuff a long time ago.
I feel really bad for
Um,
her too. I really do. She was
yeah, I mean
amazing.
yeah,
They
but
really like hit her hard with this. I'm
yeah,
so
because she outed the loophole.
right.
She outed how
Exactly.
you could
And
do
as
it.
soon as she did it, they
Love
shut her
her
down,
for that.
Yeah, and it's just like, and
as they do
here
with
it didn't even have to happen that way because Intercept put out the article, and I was like, it
Mhm.
almost was like a hit piece against her because the Intercept article kind of came out like right at the same time as she was testifying,
Right.
and they
Yeah.
made it seem like she was the one that talked to the Intercept. You get what I'm trying to say? Like
I
that's
absolutely, yeah. No, it
yeah.
makes perfect sense. And I feel bad because she was really good at what she did. She was amazing, and then
Oh yeah,
poof.
she's doing really good now. I mean, like it just
I hope she's okay.
this
I hope she's
case,
okay.
yeah, this case has taken so many victims, and it's like little,
Right.
these
Right.
families have to keep going through this crap, and it's like, dude, the only people that are to blame here is every single person that was involved in investigating this case. They are to blame.
Yeah,
People want to
because they're
say
all
kids
liars.
are
Yes.
lying. You guys, if the investigators are good at their jobs, none of those interviews would be the way they were. People
Right.
would be down in police departments. We would
Yes.
actually be seeing interviews on like in interrogation rooms, just like we see every other time we go to a
Yep.
YouTube channel to watch somebody's like
Yeah,
interrogation
exactly.
video.
Yes.
Like you would have
Well,
thought that it was like, I mean, the way that this investigation was handled was absolute garbage. And to sit here
uh,
and not say that in a book, and to say that it was just, dude, it was momentum of the case. It just took over. Like to read that in a sentence, it made me want to puke.
well, let me ask you then too. With that affidavit that we saw, the one
Yeah.
that Dippler came out and called him a conspiracy theorist on, as you were just talking on, we all feel the same way on that. Exactly what you said.
He breaks
Now
it
we get
down in his book in a chapter. That's like the only thing that he basically got his flesh out on was Hitler and how that whole thing went, because
yeah,
he argues the timeline with it, which was the state had an argument and then they changed their argument. And his affidavit was actually put in. And then when the state came back to talk about that whole 7 days, he never had a chance to
right. He
ever
wouldn't
put
allow him
anything
to
in
do it.
after that.
Yeah.
And that's when you normally would be like, you're going to hear from this person in a courtroom.
Yes.
It's a death penalty case. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you have people that are testifying in suppression hearings. You have people testifying in motion lemonies all the time. And here in a death penalty case in Idaho, you're not going to. It's a very big case.
Yeah.
And Hitler just didn't give him the opportunity
Exactly.
to answer the state's now changing theory. Because at first it was GLDC didn't do it at all. That
Hmm.
now it was like June 2023. Now it's the 7-day bullshit.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, and I just think that the only thing that the book doesn't tell me is you explain how the whole thing operated with that your affidavit, when he wants to come at you, he's talking about the fact that, how prejudicial that would be to any potential
Yes.
juror that was watching that, to,
Absolutely.
the media, all this stuff. Like that's the wildest thing like ever. So he gives it to Hitler, and it's just like, well, how about the question though? Can I hear? Like, I get it because I agree with everything that Cyree has to say about that. But my question is, let's talk about those 7 days though. What would have
Right.
been your comeback?
Yes.
Because that's not in the book, and that's a question I have. Because
And
I think
that
I know the answer because I actually work on other cases, and I've talked to some other people that actually do this as well.
Mhm.
And there's a case that I covered, the Shanna Gardner case,
right.
and basically you can take those 7 fucking days and shove them up your ass. But
right.
I want to hear how, and this is what they don't want to do in situations. Everybody has their relationships, and do you want to throw people under the bus? No.
No, I get
I'm
it.
not. Yeah. So somebody that he doesn't want to say, oh well, I know that I can get this because so and so would give me the shit, and I was able to get this stuff, months out or whatever it may be. So I understand that, but you need to at least explain without
That's
saying names that 7 days to me. You just need to say that's bullshit.
so then that's what I'm saying is like, is that where his disconnect came into play then is when Hitler called him out, did what he did, and that's where this flip-flop sat when he kind of basically backtracked on that. Because
No,
that's
he
what I
didn't
think
backtrack
everybody's.
on it. He just never had an opportunity to speak on it.
Wouldn't you think he would have put that in the book though? Like, I mean, that's
Well, no, because I think that there's me personally, I believe
Yeah.
there's a reason he didn't put it in the book because of this NDA.
Oh, okay. Okay. I got you.
I think
makes
that
sense.
book walks a very fine line.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
what you're going to
yeah.
see in that book, because don't get me wrong, you guys, I love Tyree, I love Carrie. They've done amazing things in their
Right.
career. Okay.
Right.
But it's like a brother sister type thing. If I want to say like I'm disappointed in my brother, why the fuck would he do that type of thing?
Of course.
Like
Yeah.
that's how I feel. But I love that man, love Carrie, and like I said, you only argue the merits of whatever it is. Like to bring in other things of like what Tyree did in the past, that has nothing to do with the
No.
opportunity that was sitting in
No.
front of you, and what you said and your word to me matters.
Yep.
Because my word to you is all I have.
Sure. Yeah.
So
it should be.
that
That's the
matters.
way it
So
should be.
I put that up there on a pedestal, and I respected the fact that I don't want you coming on my channel if you're an NDA. I don't want you coming on my channel if it's this, that, and the other. There's a huge ass leak. You think I want to be tied to that shit? Fuck no.
No,
'Cause
I
didn't do
agree with
anything.
you. Exactly. Exactly.
But like I
I just-
didn't press it. I was just like, hey, when you can come on, then
Yeah.
I'll have you on.
Right.
So you must have been when I hear like people emailing me and writing me about custody queens, I'm like, I have no idea what you guys are talking about. And then I just go straight to like, I'll just go straight to Cy. And it's like, okay, well, if you're doing a interview with them, like I don't need to interview you to talk about what, the same damn thing. Like,
Right.
no, I don't. If you're interviewing with them, like, have at it.
That's
but,
kind
like,
of what I figured
And that's just,
too.
I mean,
My
no,
biggest thing,
I'm not gonna platform you
of course,
because at that point it's just like I mean,
he can sell his book
you
on his
should ask
own. He
yourself
doesn't
why
need you to do
this,
it.
This
Right.
should be the question. This is no knock to custody queens because I love them to death.
Right.
But everybody should ask themselves the questions. The one question, which is, wow, I know that Lana would throw a lot of fucking fastballs, a lot of hard balls. Like, you think I'm gonna throw softballs up there?
No, we know that.
I know the case inside and out. I know that maybe that's why you don't want to come and and be questioned by me or interviewed by me, because when you give me an answer that's word salad, I'm gonna say, what are you talking about?
You're gonna chop it up, right? I know
Yeah,
that.
I'm not gonna say,
He knows that
okay,
too.
yeah, that
Right.
makes perfect sense. Thanks for that one. Okay, moving on to the next. Fuck that. No way.
Right. Right.
Like,
Thank you,
get outta
Crime
here.
Doors.
So
I think my biggest issue, Landon, now is this whole statement about the mental health thing really, really bothers me.
What's the mental
because
health? I have no idea what mental health is.
he made that statement. I guess it's in the book too. It was in the email that quite a few of us had received. I guess that there was the whole thing. I always knew Bryan was guilty from the beginning. Blah 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 blah.
I never received. Hold on, I have to back up. What email are you talking about? Because I never received an email.
I got an email back in February that I never said anything about because I wasn't 100%. I wanted to hear what Cy was going to say. I was expecting to see him on your channel, actually. I wanted to see what he was going to.
Who put out the email?
I don't know the person themselves, but a few of us got it from my understanding. And it
But
came
who
from
is the author?
him. It came from him.
So you're saying
he responded to somebody else that sent him a question about Bryan, so on and so forth. And he sent
are you
an
talking
answer
about, like,
back.
does this have to do with like harsh?
I think he got the same one too. Yeah.
Okay, so you're basically saying that somebody emailed Cyree, and Cyree are you able to vet it? Are you sure that it's Cyree that answered it?
It looks like it came from like his Facebook group where people sent emails to ask questions. That's what we're saying. That's why I'm saying I want to make sure that
I just want
it
people
is
to know
real.
that I have, just for full disclosure, because people like to clip stuff. People like to,
Yeah.
oh, did you hear what Lana said on someone? It's like, here, take the whole thing here. I have never seen
Right.
what you're talking about. And all I can tell you is that if he didn't send it directly to you and you didn't get it, I would just simply take whatever you got, fire off an email, and I would vet it. I would say, hey,
I'll send it to you so you can see it too. But yeah, I will. And that's what I wanted to know. But people are saying it's in the book. It's coming from the book too. And I was like, okay.
So can you just read it verbatim then?
Hold on, let me find it again.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Well, that way, because I just don't know, and I don't want to.
And it's
Otherwise,
it's
I don't
pretty
really have to
basic
comment on it.
stuff. You know, I got you. Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
You better go get a cup of coffee, Lana. You're gonna wait for Dago to find an email.
Oh shit.
You gotta remember,
Yeah.
it's
I
the
would have been fine if you wouldn't have said that. Hang on.
you gotta remember, it's the elderly versus technology.
Shut up, Dylan.
I'd be in both categories of flow, so
Yeah, well, it is what it is.
I usually have 100 tabs up, and I'm like, geez. So that's what's always difficult for me is when I have all my tabs up. I'm like,
That's what I have to deal with too, because I do the same thing. Hold on a minute.
yeah,
Move
I
it
feel
over
you.
here.
I feel you.
I didn't think you'd be up this late. All right.
I usually am not, unless if I'm up this late, I'm live.
Right, that's what I meant. All right, I got it. I'm pulling it up. Give me 1 second,
I
okay?
saw Tomboy on the live. I had to get up here.
There you go.
See, this is why
See?
she gets
That's the
wide
only
when
reason
she
I
ever
came
comes
up
to
here.
Dallas.
Yeah, that's the only reason. If Tomboy wouldn't have been on, I'm not even gonna lie. Tomboy wouldn't have been on this panel because I knew I was like, you know what, I have to do it because there's a couple different times that I was supposed to come on when you were on, and I was like, I promise I'm gonna get on one of these. So that's a true statement, though. If I didn't see Tomboy on this, I was gonna be like, time for bed.
Happy to know I'm interesting enough to not bring you up.
No, not to you or Kim. It was just I had owed time. I was like, because a couple different times she's like, Lana, you're supposed to come on, or you're gonna come on, and I was like, oh my god. I was like, next time. And so when I saw it, I was like, I'm just laying here. And I said I was only gonna come on for like 5 minutes, and I was like, I just want to speak my piece on just so that my quotes are just, this is what I said, this is why I said it.
Of course. All right.
And by the way, I can't even see chat, but I'm sure all the mods in the chat's just either loving life or saying whatever. But
They're all loving it.
They
They're all
love
loving it.
either way, much love out to the chat, out to the. I know that it's the mods always have a tough job, so always got nothing.
They love
nothing
you.
but love.
Everybody does. So I'm not gonna read I'm just gonna read his response, okay? That's all. 1 minute. All right, it says I've been thinking about the best way to respond here. I have decided it is a rip the band-aid approach. Bryan Kohberger is guilty. He was always guilty. I knew when I took the case he was guilty. As someone who has spent years sorting through the massive amount of evidence on this case, I have never doubted his guilt.
Okay, this is straight from his book. Go ahead.
Right, that's what I thought. So,
Well, just let me make sure that, I'm just saying that all this beginning part
yeah,
is straight from his book, and then I highlighted the part where it said, like, I've seen the evidence in this case. I highlighted that because, nope, I'm going to need you to go ahead and qualify this
Sure.
statement.
Same thing we've said about everybody else. I agree with you.
Okay, so go ahead. Sorry to cut you off there.
No, you're good. You're good. And I thought it was from the book, which is why I decided it was okay. I would read it because most people are getting pieces of this now. So anyway, where did I leave it?
Book is out now, right? People have the book.
Some people have it, yeah. Mine's delayed because they had to reproduce it or something. They said so.
Yeah, they put it out in like 2 batches.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I supported it, and I'm not telling people not to go get the book because I think that you should. I think that you should get the book. If don't let this deter you from not getting the book, because you need to see it for yourself. Because all the other stuff that's in the book, there's a chapter about the Karen Reed case,
right?
And he takes, it's a really good chapter. That's like my favorite chapter of the fucking book.
I still think you guys that don't get me wrong. I still think Cyril is probably the best at what he does. Okay,
but it's just a location
yeah.
I can't get down with you having a blanket statement about something, okay, and not qualifying what you've seen, okay, and then but to sit here and say, I know for a fact though that these people lied their asses off about this, okay,
yeah.
So, and then I know what I know from investigating this case with all the public before you, all the documents that we have,
yeah,
dude. If Cyril, you believe that Bethany or that Dylan called Bethany first, that's wrong.
it is completely wrong, right?
And that changes everything.
Yeah, that flips everything upside down. I agree with you.
Yeah, go ahead.
It says, Brandon, I knew the case was. I knew when I took the case he was guilty. As someone who has spent years sorting through the massive amount of evidence on this case, I have never doubted his guilt. Bryan is where he belongs. In the incredibly unlikely scenario that he is ever released from prison, I suspect that he will kill again. There are mental health issues here that cannot be ignored. With that said, some of the investigators involved with the case lied and perverted the justice system to bring him to justice. I will always stand firm on this notion, and the end result can never justify the means. And that is why I took this case to hold those responsible. It is completely possible for both scenarios to exist here, Bryan being guilty and the investigators being corrupted. And this is why there was a plea. The state knew what was coming in court and knew that it would go well for them. We forced them to offer the plea, which in a way is justice here. Bryan is where he needs to be, and now the investigators can be held responsible. I can't get into all the details, but trust me when I say I am far from being done with this case. Not only will certain actors be held accountable, this will be a great learning lesson for law enforcement to learn from and do better. And then he goes into Carrie and I have started a new business, Furnace, which is training and software that assists in complex investigations, but more importantly, will prevent what happened in Bryan's case. This is what we have been feisty working on the last year instead of the SCC. We are back in the mix working cases, which is our true calling. And it just says after that, sorry for the forward response. I know this is probably not something you wanted to hear, but it is the truth, and that is what I stand for. End of story.
Yep, that's 1,000%. And then this is the only thing that sucks about that. Okay, that wasn't all in the book. Some of that stuff there at the end,
Yeah.
he customized it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so what the issue though is that if you when you read the book, like I said, he's saying that this happened not because of bad actors. He's saying that the momentum of this case took over. Okay. And before, and the next thing you know, then that affidavit, like, all these little things just got built on top of it. Okay. And it never had to, the words that he uses is, it never had to be validated. It never had, it just stood as fact, and it was never tested, and it was never, it's something like going the wrong directions in the car,
Right.
and I'm over here like, hello, McFly. The person knew when they fucking wrote it the wrong way that they wrote it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because I want to break down that whole process. Oh, hey, I got you this film here. I got the surveillance tape for you. Here you go. You asked me to go get the cameras in the area. We got them all. So let's go through them. Okay, we're going.
Yeah.
You know that area like the back of your head because you're WSU. You
I
know when the car would be
can't
coming
understand
from
how the wrong evidence points to the right person.
What was it? So
how does the wrong evidence point to the right person?
Well, no. So like my issue is that it's not the wrong evidence points to the wrong person. What it is saying here is that
he's guilty. They have the right guy,
because I'll
but
tell you why.
all their evidence is messed up.
I'll tell you why. Because these people are idiots. He's saying that you guys fought the evidence that actually would have been more helpful to you. Why couldn't you just say, because like y'all said, hey, usually people shut off their phones before they go and commit a crime. That's exactly what Bryan Kohberger did. So why are you having to say, and what that tells me is it wasn't enough. So
they didn't have enough to convict him, so they had to twist it up.
They basically had an inside track to the magistrate telling them they knew what they needed to suffice to be able to get the probable cause. That's why they lied. So the much bigger issue here is that, how back in the days what's supposed to happen is that police take their work, they take it to a prosecutor.
Yeah.
There's one thing that's good about Law and Order is it's like when the prosecutor would always be like, dude, I need more than that. Like, you got to give me blah, blah. Like, and so you get back to the chopping board of investigating him, knocking on, like, pounding the pavement, not going and taking a piece of paper and, okay, well, let's fucking just lie about this shit.
Right.
But do you believe, Atlanta, that they have the right person?
I believe that if they have the right person, there's more than him.
There's definitely more people involved.
Because the evidence at the crime scene does not indicate that it's one person. The
Right.
time frame is
Right.
wrong. So I'm over of the opinion
Right.
that if you have the wrong time frame, Bryan Kohberger is not involved.
Right.
So if you, but or you know, but is there other ways to describe it? Like you said, like I don't believe he went over there in a white car for some reason. Was it even his white car? Maybe he got a ride from somebody else, because I think his car. I'm with Scott Roeder on this. You can clean it all day long, but guess what? There's going to be signs of a cleanup. You're
Yeah.
going to
Well, of course there would be.
You're going to
Yeah.
bleach it too
Right.
much. You're going to use chemicals. That's going to test for that.
Yes.
You're not going to get it all, but there's going to be signs of a cleanup. Okay, even
Yep.
when you think that you cleaned everything up, and maybe you did, but then there's signs of a cleanup.
Yeah.
Right.
So his car would have been just completely finished.
Right.
And then people are like, well, Lana, he's packing them in bags. I'm like, yeah, and that would have all taken time. And then he cleaned up. And you think this happened in 10 minutes? And that's where my issue with why does Cy Ray want to come out and be Brent Turvey's keeper and go ham about what Brent Turvey is saying, and that he's spewing a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't think what he's saying is bullshit at all. And in fact, the time of the crime, why are we talking about the fact that we don't even have the phone records of certain carols, and the
Thank
cell
you.
rights weren't?
Thank you.
I
Yep.
mean, how so
My
I think
biggest
the
problem
question
is
to ask him what evidence he's talking about. What did you
that
use?
bingo.
That's all that matters.
That's it right there. 100%.
That's all that matters. You ask Cy Ray, when you want to talk about this evidence, I need to know specifically, look at your contract, because in your report, you always say what you looked at, what you were provided with to then determine whatever your expert opinion is.
Show us what that was. Exactly.
Yeah. And,
That's
and
what I said.
that's all you have to do.
And if that's the case, then that will
And if
validate
you
what
want to
you're
write a
saying.
book
That's
about
it.
it, you would think that you'd have no problem doing that.
I agree with you. I agree with that. Yes.
And I think same thing with Chris Whitcomb. At least you know what I give Chris Whitcomb so much credit for? We have all these unredacted reports because he did that book.
Yep.
Yeah.
Put a check in that column. Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
We have that timeline that the police gave to Bill Thompson. Dude, that is invaluable for what a mindset of what they were willing to lie about and what they deemed as important. That is
Right.
invaluable for someone like me, how I look at a case.
Yeah. I agree. And
Because
that for somebody in the
90%
chat that
of
said,
it's fucking wrong. But it's
right.
also 90% of it wasn't validated by another source. And that's what you're supposed to do, an investigation.
Yes.
Mhm.
And me personally, I see somebody in the chat asking, I still think Bryan is completely innocent of this. That's my opinion personally, because I can't find any evidence pointing to him at all anywhere. But everybody has different
Well, there is
feelings
a
on
piece of
this.
evidence that points to him, just like there's evidence that points to Karen Reed's guilt. Okay,
I
there's a sheath with that is labeled as having his DNA on it. Now, the
How
state
they
has
got
to
that is
explain
different story.
That's what I mean. Do you
Yeah,
How they
believe
got
that?
that DNA is a different story.
Right. Do you believe that
Strongest-
do you believe that DNA on that sheath is his, Lena?
I would need to see the pictures of the sheath on the bed, like what they're talking about it in terms of like.
Yeah.
I'd want to see that, and
Agreed.
They need to unredact all the reports about the DNA. Like they're still blocking some of them.
I need the
Yeah,
audit
probably-
reports from the lab.
Like, isn't the whole
this is
STR
how I
thing
look at it, guys.
redacted?
Like, it's not our job to do their job. So if we were on the jury, if I'm in a room, am I able to say that Bryan Kohberger is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt? Not if you defend him in the way that I would defend him. Nobody's
No.
going to be able to say that. Because
No.
we're going to do what
My
Alan
husband-
Jackson did, basically.
Guy, and he wouldn't even convict him in a court. He said there's not beyond reasonable doubt.
Who said that?
My husband. He
Oh,
thinks
Cy said the same thing. Cy said that if Bryan would have went through it with the jury,
Yeah.
he flat out told me that he would have walked.
I believe
So
that. That's
there's
yeah.
that. I mean, but
Wow.
don't get me wrong. Do I want fucking people walking that
No.
are killers? Like, no.
No,
What
none of
I
us.
want is I want those fucking officers out of their jobs.
Yeah. And the
And
liars.
I want everybody that was part of either looking the other way, signing up on reports that they knew were wrong, and the people that thought that they could write the reports. All of these people need to go. That's so when Cy wrote what he wrote there and saying that, oh, trust me, because he told me the same thing. Trust me, I'm gonna get my pound of flesh. Oh, you are? Okay. How? How? I don't think you're getting your pound of flesh.
That's a good question.
How are you
Ro,
getting your pound of flesh by
What does he mean by that?
Meaning
that?
he's going to get his due process, what he wants, what he
Yeah.
thinks. Yeah,
What
that's what
happened
it
to him
means.
in that courtroom royally fucked him. I don't care what anybody wants to say.
Oh,
That
with
was
Hitler?
big.
Yeah,
Huh?
we said that. Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously, because it made him look like
I
a
mean,
joke.
it was back to back. Oh, also he talks about that Colorado case too in the
Yeah,
book. But he basically took two huge hits.
Mhm.
The Colorado ruling, and
Yeah.
right.
then Hitler doing what he did. So those were like, I think it was like 2022.
Didn't they backtrack that one?
I don't. Did they backtrack it? No,
Like, didn't they ultimately say he would? I don't know.
it
I
was about
thought
being a stupid like engineer. It was. Bottom line is that, listen, when are the days like you guys are supposed to be professionals? You guys are experts. You guys are supposed to be signing contracts to do a job. You're supposed to be just worried about the evidence, right? Right? Isn't that what these people are supposed to do? I've
Yeah.
Yeah,
never seen what
absolutely.
I feel like is, I don't even want to say like anybody's being like crybabies, but it's like, why does, like, what happened in this case that it's like I gotta tell my story? Like, this is Bryan Kohberger and those four students' story. That's whose story this is. And to like insert
Right.
yourself in the way that I've seen people insert themselves, and when you owe your job to Ann Taylor. Ann Taylor hired you. You don't meet the client like that. That's not how that works. That's not the process. And so if you truly believe like what Brent Turvey believes, then hey, Brent Turvey, what can you do about it to say like, hey, yo, this is just like nothing I've ever seen before, and I have no idea why this plea
Uh-oh.
Go there.
Can we hear you?
nobody. Ann Taylor, her job is to represent him to the best of her clients, like her ability, which is also, hey, I need to put your interest above all. And if it meant that we're going to do this plea deal because I need to buy us time for something that achieves this, is like, we don't have a chance in here. We're getting
Right.
no calls.
Right.
Like, I cannot let you, like, they're going to try to expedite you getting killed, okay? But here, we're waiting in the wings for these Hunter versus the United States just happened, and the ruling was today.
Yes.
If you're Bryan Kohberger, you couldn't have asked for a better fucking ruling.
Right.
Like, if he wants to appeal his case, he will get a trial if he wants one.
Right. And right. Nobody was cooperating with them in any fashion, shape, anything. Nothing. They had no chance to do anything. I agree with that fully. So
Dago.
These, oh, my phone's gonna die. But hey, these experts should ask themselves why Ann Taylor hasn't released them from their fucking NDAs. And it's because she still wants to do something, and they should respect that.
Yeah.
yeah, I
I
agree with
agree.
that.
You're not above someone's life. This is Bryan Kohberger's life on the line, and four students were murdered. So everybody can just fucking suck a dick. That's what I think.
Yep. That's it. There you go.
All right, I love you, Dago. Sorry, I just
Yes.
invaded your
Love
show.
you too.
Love you, kid.
Love you
Love
too.
you.
I can't wait for tomorrow's
Night,
show.
Night, Lana.
Good night.
Night.
Good night, hon. See you tomorrow. Yikes. That must be what happens when a phone starts to die.
Dago. I gotta hop down too. I gotta get up at 4.
Okay.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh, John boy. Oh,
Yeah.
well, your time off for me, but yeah.
The boy has to be to work early, so that means I have to get up and play.
What time is it there?
It's almost midnight.
Oh, yeah, we're a little bit ahead of you, but okay.
Ooh.
I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Good night,
sleep
everybody. I'll still listen, but I might fall asleep listening to
All
it.
right. Good night, dear.
I'm in the same boat. I gotta go to bed too.
Well, I'm burnt, but that was worth doing this tonight. I just wanted to express
Yeah.
my views and my issues and my problems. I'm glad that Lana was awake and saw this and came in and explained some things and put her voice out there too, because it's important that people understand this. Okay, She's absolutely right. Like, if you're going to come forward and make a statement such as there's mental health issues here that need to be addressed, blah blah blah, so on and so forth, then you need to explain to the world, being who you are, why you believe that. Then it's not just an opinion. I mean, it's his opinion. I agree with that. Okay, but you're also an expert, and you're stating with like she said in that statement I read, with all the evidence that you have seen. Well, what does that what is that? What is that that makes you think that? That's my biggest issue there, guys. So
Well, and then on top of that, we all know how mainstream media is going to take it. They're going
of
to say
course,
they're going to say defense expert believes Ryan Kohberger would kill again if he's free.
thank you, bingo. That
Oh,
would
yeah.
take
Headline news right there.
that tagline in itself, right there, is more than enough to shut the whole thing down. Think that, okay? Believe me, that's a fact. So I fully agree with that one, Dylan. That's something that they've done it. They do it again and again and again, and they will continue to do it. So yes, and that's probably going to happen as soon as this book drops and they get a hold of it. I'll be damned. I bet you that's the first statement they put out.
And I do want to add, as much as a lot of people are thinking that that Ann Taylor's got this ace up her sleeve and she's coming with something. I mean, the clock's ticking. The more time that goes
Well,
by, the harder it is it's going to be.
the
Because
thing that this new thing that dropped today, though, it does give him more of a chance because somebody else looked into that, and that is state and federal. It's not just federal. So it does give him, if he chooses, that's the important thing everybody got to remember here. As much as we want to believe in certain things, it's his decision. Nobody else can make that decision for him. We can't force him to do this. He has to make that choice to do it himself. And if he doesn't do it, there's nothing to talk about.
There's no deadlines, no timelines anymore for an appeal, right?
With
Because
this
of
new
that.
thing, this new thing, I think that eliminates all of that, I believe. Yeah.
yeah,
I believe.
from my understanding of it, like it's states can adopt it, and it can be used as influence, but they don't have to follow it.
No, it's a federal law. Federal law
yeah.
trumps state law.
Right. It's a federal law that can be used as a state basis from how I understood
You
it.
have to. You can't. If your state law is different, the federal law trumps that.
That's what I'm saying because Thank
Yeah,
you, Kim. Sorry, I'm tired now. I can't think straight.
For federal cases, yes.
No.
Oh.
Here's. Go ahead.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, it's because it's a federal thing, a federal law. They have to allow it in the state, in a state basis as well, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
That's how it's very hard. That again, more word salad with bullshit dressing, but the wording on it is what makes it so hard to understand. But I've had multiple people come at me today that have like re-explained it to me, and then I went and looked at something that was sent to me, and it shows word for word how it states it. So again, he has to use. It has to be up to him. So if he doesn't use it, then there's nothing anybody can do about it. It's just not going to happen. So I can't
Yeah.
imagine anybody in this position wouldn't, knowing what's being put forth now and what has come out in the past year. I can't imagine nobody that would, knowing what he's been, basically railroaded with. That's the case. All I want to see at this point now is a real trial with every bit of the true evidence put forth, and the people that are responsible for fucking this up, excuse the language, but held accountable. End of story. All, like Lana was screaming, all the liars. There's so many liars in this. It's unbelievable. Okay. They're all lying, and that needs to be called out, and they need to be held accountable. End of story again. That's all I'm saying. Because that's all any of us want is just truth. Tell the fucking truth and be done with it. Okay. And move on. And so will we. That's it.
Do you think, just hypothetically, if he did win an appeal and he did win his court case and he's released somehow, do you think they would go back and try to find out who really did it?
Absolutely not.
No, it would be a cold case.
Absolutely
it would
not.
Be dead.
The only people that are going to, I agree with Dylan. And I said that before. First off, they're not going to put any fucking more money into this, Kim. None. Okay. They're not going to go chasing down. Well, I believe they know who did it. That's my opinion. It's been my opinion, but that's a whole different realm. But they're not going to put any more money into prosecuting anybody else in this. And the only people I see, and I hate to say this too, I feel it would go cold, and I think the only people that would chase this would be the Gonsalves family. And I
Yeah.
don't blame them. I don't blame them. As much as they have done and brought to the table with this that wasn't so great, they're the only people I think that will chase this to the end. If Bryan gets released, God help him. He's gonna have to go into the fucking witness protection program, in my opinion, to keep himself safe. But um, if he gets released and found innocent completely, good luck. This is gonna turn into. You think it's a disaster now? Watch what happens.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the problem is the physical evidence would get thrown out of court with any of the lawyers that everyone else around the case would be able to afford because of
Oh,
because of the renumbering, the lack of testing, and the fact that they already have on the books. Oh, this guy said that he did it, and he got off on the
that's
technicality.
gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a problem down going forward. I agree, and I have a feeling. I'm kind of 50-50. I was wondering if that were to happen, if an attorney would step up and say, we need to make something happen here, okay? And make a big deal about it. I'm curious as to how that would work. But all right, Kim, I understand. I do too. It's actually way later than I thought it was. So
I'm going to bed, you guys. I'm falling asleep up here, but thank you for having me, Dago. This
thank
was
you for
wonderful. Like clarifying that email and verifying that.
that's
That
why I
was
finally
right.
decided to do this, because I got that back in February, and it reads the same way as everybody else's, and I knew it was finding out it was coming from the book. I said we need to talk about this, and I wanted to state my stance on what my belief is. As far as the fraternities and all that go, just saying,
Yeah. Good job.
So, and guys, don't thank you for joining me, Kim. I appreciate
Bye,
you, and
guys.
hopefully
Good
I'll see you
night.
tomorrow.
Yep. Bye.
And don't forget, you guys, I think it's tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That needs to be watched. We all need to be there to watch that, okay? Lana's going live with Pav, and it's going to be brought down. It's going to be discussed. So, and of course, I'll be back tomorrow. After that, depending on how long that goes, and I'll probably be talking about that after the fact. So, just saying, it was a very interesting conversation. I'm glad you joined me too, Dylan.
Always a
I'm just
blast.
saying, this is a bunch of absolute bullshit, folks. It's evident. It's clearly evident now. I questioned myself for a while on certain things. Okay, it's clearly evident now. All of this absolute bullshit that has come out, the way it's rolling out. Come on. I mean, if anybody, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but guilters, come on, you guys, open your eyes.
There's not an avenue that you have to say that he's
There's
guilty.
nothing. No,
Especially now with the phone data out. The car and the phone don't match up. That's not Bryan's car. And we've known already that the car that they're trying to say and swear up and down that is Bryan's, we know it's an undercover car that is there 3 hours after they're supposed to be off their shift.
thank you. The phone was not turned off, folks. It's not his car. The only thing that, like Lana was saying, the only thing that they really truly kind of have is this stupid sheath and the DNA that I don't think is Bryan's. Okay, so you tell me and they were going to toss that if they went to trial, folks. They weren't going to use that damn sheet. What does that tell you? Okay, what does that tell you when that's the only fucking evidence they have? They didn't have nothing. They don't have anything. There's
And,
nothing to prove that this man is guilty
and
because he's not.
the number that they use to say, oh, it's a it's a 1 in 5 quadrillion shot of it,
Octillion. Yeah.
or octillion, whatever,
Yeah.
an insane number. You know where they got that number?
They pulled out of their ass, Dylan.
Exactly, directly out of Ashley Jennings' fat ass.
You said that, not me. But I agree with you. It's all bullshit, folks. It is all bullshit. I just don't believe the way the store, like Lana said, they were hiding behind IgG, this, that, and everything else. I don't believe that it's Bryan's DNA. I just don't. They lied about everything they told us. Okay? And everything they tried to use. This means that he did it. No, it doesn't. Gilbertson himself said he took 5,000 pictures like that. It means nothing. He was stalking them. No, he wasn't. Bill Thompson did jumping jacks and turned purple in the courtroom telling everybody in the world that he never stalked anybody. The phone was not turned off. We already know that, okay? It was the wrong fucking car. You guys tell me what the hell proves that Bryan had anything to do with this. Because I don't see it.
And I did a search on Google Trends just for kicks and giggles when in the Peter interview when they started talking about Kaylee and Maddie, they're like on the cusp of being social media stars. Well, obviously if someone's stalking them, there's gonna be a Google search about it. Nobody ever Googled Madison Mogan or Kaylee Goncalves at any point for 4 months leading up to the murders. 0 is what the number
Right.
was.
That's what I mean. I don't understand it.
Nobody was stalking them. Nobody.
Nobody was. Well, I mean, let me say this. I don't know that no, like the whole thing where Kaylee was talking about somebody was watching her, so on and so forth. I'm not saying that never happened. Okay, I can't say that never happened. But
Which
Bryan
given where it's
Kohberger was
coming
not
from-
stalking anybody. They've all clearly said that.
Given where it's coming from, I'm going to say it didn't happen because it's not Kaylee. We don't have any evidence of Kaylee actually saying that. It's coming from Dylan and Bethany, and people are saying, "Oh yeah, we heard it from somebody. I don't remember who."
Again, and if my swearing upset anybody, my apologies. When I get worked up, I start saying certain things, so my apologies if it upset anybody. I'm just so frustrated with this at this point, you guys, because I tried to put Bryan in that house. I tried to make Bryan the one that did this. I can't find it. I don't see it. They don't have it. So if they don't have it, how can I see it? You tell me that, anybody. And I'm not even sitting here saying anything about Dylan and Bethany right now. I'm talking about the investigation, and I'm talking about Bryan Kohberger. You show me, anybody show me, and I've said this for years now. Please show me any evidence that's real evidence that proves Bryan Kohberger was there and did anything. I can't find anything because I don't believe it's there. Again, because I don't believe he was there. So that's my point. I don't know. But and the other thing, my other stance too was, like I said earlier, I don't believe this is the fraternity, folks. I just don't. I don't believe that the way this is all unfolded, if I do believe they may know about it, like I said, they may have some guilty knowledge of it, and maybe they're just not saying anything out of fear or whatever you want to call it. But I don't believe it's fraternity. I can't. I've tried to do that too. I've looked at all the angles, guys, and it doesn't fit for me.
Well, let me ask you this, Dago. If you were to make a 4-way Venn diagram and look at who could have killed who, you would have Jack. You would have like Jack Showalter, Jack Decor, in the Maddie and Kaylee section. And then you would have Hunter, Emily, Sigma Chi all in the Ethan and Xana. But who's the only ones that are in that center circle that fits all 4 of them?
Dylan and Bethany.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I understand that, you guys. I'm not, and I'm not disputing that, and I'm not saying that they weren't. All I'm telling you guys is, even outside of that, there's nothing else that makes any sense when it comes to Bryan having any involvement in this. None. I mean, none. I've been begging somebody for almost 4 years to show me real evidence, okay? Real evidence as to how Bryan did this. Nobody has said one word to me. And you guys, we heard for 3 years, they have so much evidence. It's all going to come out at trial. They have so much more. They don't need to show. Why aren't they showing it now? Well, they don't have to. Why? I'm sorry, but if I wanted somebody to be convicted of a crime that I believe they did, and I had all this evidence, I was the first fucking thing I'd show. But they don't show any of that. And here's why I believe, because they don't have it. At the end of the trial, not the hearing, when Bill had to read to as to why they had Bryan, he read the damn PCA that they said was irrelevant. With nothing more to it. There's nothing there. And that's all I think most of us, I'm sorry, I'm getting tired, have wanted for 4 years is for them to show how and why. That's why I don't understand what the hell these guilters are seeing that proves that Bryan did this. I want one of them to show me what the hell they're seeing. I've tried to find it. I've tried to see it. It's not there. End of I mean, just that's it. It's not there. There's not even circumstantial evidence, CAO. They don't even have circumstantial evidence. And if they have that, I want to see that too. But I'm not going to because they don't have it. It's insane. I've never seen anything like this in my life. And I pray to God, I hope I never do again. I fucking hate this case. Absolutely hate it. I can't walk away from it, though, until I get some kind of an answer. And I won't. But I hate it. It's crazy. Who's weird? SB, who's weird? Don't tell me you're saying Bryan's weird because I won't accept that. I don't like that. Okay, I don't play into that. If anything, they bullied an autistic guy and used that as an excuse to use him because he's an outsider. He's not from that area, and they chose him for this, just like Ian said. And if you're not saying that was him, then that's why I said, who are you saying is weird? I don't believe he's weird. You know why? Because I have a 19-year-old child. It's just like the things that they pointed out that they said were weird. He does the same things, and they're not weird to me. He just doesn't get social cues sometimes. That's a crime. I'm sorry. And that's disgusting to me. And I wouldn't have said any of that. If there was even one piece of evidence that made me think Bryan could have done this, I'd have never said a word about that. Not one. It's sickening to me. So, it's midnight 46. We've been here for almost 2.5 hours. Any last thoughts, feelings, opinions, comments? Whatever. Yeah. Anything, Mr. Dillon?
Yeah, I mean, I remember doing my very first true crime video, and I actually got it queued up 3 years ago, March 3rd, 2023, on my original sports channel,
Mm-hmm.
and
Hey, too fast.
and it was the position that I was taking all the way up until we started seeing the evidence, and it was,
Right.
we'll see what happens, we'll see what comes out, but as of right now, there's reasonable doubt, and they're gonna have the opportunity to bring me over to that side, but there was never anything to pull me over there.
I was with
Because
you on that. Yeah, I agree with you. I tried too.
and it just got to the point where you just throw your hands up and say, this isn't acceptable at all." And I still remember the very first thing I said when I came up on this panel the very first time is when you were talking. I think the Goncalves family were freaking out about Bryan Kohberger writing a book, and you asked my thoughts on it, and I said that if Bryan Kohberger were to write a book, it would be the most boring book on the planet because all it would say is, I have no idea what happened in that house.
I agree with you. That's why they
Because
didn't let him speak, and that's why they didn't let him allocute. Sorry, because they knew that he couldn't. That he couldn't. So they gave some dumb bullshit excuse. Welcome, Audrey. Good to see you tonight, dear. They gave some dumb bullshit excuse because they knew that if he were to do it, he'd be lying. He couldn't do it because he didn't know anything.
I mean, they're saying that the same Bill Thompson was going to try to say that the same guy would lie his ass off, who literally ratted himself out on a seatbelt ticket that the cop did not see
Right.
on footage.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I do agree with you. What a mess. What a mess.
What a shit show.
Oh, and then some. They lied about everything except the most unreliable and manipulated type of DNA. According to the Innocence Project, DNA evidence in capital cases is the evidence that is falsified the most. Thank you, Miss Audrey. That is a fact. Absolutely. All right, kids. Listen, I don't know what's going on in the chat right now, but nobody's going to disrespect my moderators. They do what they do. They know what they're doing, and they're very good at it. I'm not going to call them out on it. I've made mistakes in there, and we fixed them. But you don't talk down to them or anybody in this community for that matter, okay? Everybody in here respects each other. If you don't like something that somebody says, you don't have to. That's their opinion, and they're right just as much as it's yours. But you don't go at other people because they have differing opinions than you, okay? That's just how this works. So, anyway. Can he do an appeal with the way he was charged? Yeah, he can, especially now. Okay, there's a lot more options now for him to have the ability to do this now, which is what's important. But again, I keep saying this constantly. It's all up to one person, folks. Nobody else but one person, and that is Bryan Kohberger. And if he doesn't choose to do it, we're just gonna sit and know that he's sitting in prison for the rest of his life, whether we believe he should be or not. That's the sad thing. So, thank you, Tandy. Was that handled, Tandy? Because I'm sure if you guys did, I trust in what you did. So, I will jump into the mod chat for like 5 minutes after this just to make sure everything's right. So, again, Dylan, thanks for joining me. Miss Kim, thank you. Lana, thank you for jumping up here as well. It was shorter, but it was an interesting show. I hope everybody got something out of this. I hope if you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the comments. Please, if you have not yet, hit the like button, share this out, and I will see you guys tomorrow. But make sure that you tune in to Truth and Transparency, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. It's going to be an amazing show, in my opinion. Pavarotti, or I call him Pavarotti. Jay Embry's going to be joining Atlanta tomorrow, and they're going to be breaking it down. I will be there for sure, so I hope you guys are too. Other than that, guys, as always, don't forget to love yourselves and love each other. Please don't change a thing, because that's what I love about you. You are truly the beautiful people. Please stay who you are, and I will see you all very soon. Have a great night, folks. Love you all.
The coffee's cold, the final stain. We laid the map out in the pouring rain. No hidden corners left to creep. The dark truth woke while the city was asleep. The evidence lines up straight and true. A perfect picture of what they chose to do. The quiet street erupts in flashing light. A reckoning delivered cafe's empty, closed for the night. We put the darkness back into the light. We'll wipe the counter